Hey-o, am I on mute?
Hey, just make sure that the mic is unmuted. As sometimes 2 o'clock like creeps up on you and think you're like locked and loaded. I was just checking out the awesome thumbnail we have for the afternoon show.
Yes.
Because it's like, I don't know, like you had it's Powell making a funny face, but if he was frowning or whatever he's doing in that picture, it's kind of like, I don't know, I don't even know if I call it a frown. It's something else. If you're long, you're probably not freaking out, because the market has done one heck of a bounce here. I was asked if I was still in AMD, and I responded in the other chat, absolutely not, that short. But I am now eyeballing it as it gets to the morning resistance level, I should say. So this one's gonna be on the radar. You might see me at times taking some swings in Maple Bear or Instacart. Instacart is being added to the S&P 400, so it's, I don't know if it's going to come out as a big bid, but it is. Instacart is expected to be a buy and balance of some decent size for this afternoon. But right now, my eyeballs are on AMD, which is right at the spot where it curled earlier on today. So if it does the same thing, we'll probably look for some kind of mean revert into VWAP. But let's see what happens, man. This market is absolutely, I know it's down 1%. But on the 15-minute, I count like 8 green candles in a row. Big, strong one here, bouncing off the lows. AMD about to revert, though. It just got right into resistance. If it closed underneath this trend, I'm going to jump in the short for the first time since 11 o'clock on this name.
All right. Yeah, welcome back, everybody. We're looking for some more trades. I mean, what an aggressive midday it was. I mean, just to the long side, what a great base down there, and then absolutely taking off and continuously going. I mean, where's the stopping point? How about these pre-market highs, pretty much, right? I mean, that's there's the drop, of course. I mean, we had the pre-market up there, but the jobs report, then the battle back just before we opened up, and then the drop down. So we get all the way back in there. We had highlighted a couple times this 21,000 area, but we spent a lot of time underneath there on the NASDAQ. So we'll, we have a couple trades here. We're waiting to look for some more. Alibaba, I think we had FXI as a short as well at one point.
Where is Baba?
No, I'm not in Alibaba yet, but I was going to look. I just want to see what FXI. Yeah, generally in the afternoon, not much comment with all of these. We saw PayPal and things like that starting to run earlier when someone mentioned, I think it was Daryl mentioned Square in the chat. Yeah, PayPal, wow, down 5% right there. What does this look like on the daily? Because we were just cruising there on PayPal. Yeah, so a turnaround off $90, heading to the downside right now, breaking through the 50-period moving average. I mean, it makes you feel good to be long major cap tech names, obviously, as we keep on going to the upside, but some of them continue to bleed down. I mean, PayPal is one of them, Square is one of them. We've had Coinbase trying to hold up at 94.
SoFi.
Oh, well, all of those names, yeah, Hood, SoFi, all of that continue to go to the downside. But yeah, we're still here. Big cap. We just said Meta. I heard Joe say that Meta was a couple percentage points away from their all-time high, which is 638. So we got a nice long there, almost 17. Well, right now $17 in the money. And then what else was there? Nvidia was there. I guess that's about it. We did have a Microsoft short around 420. Now it's back in. So we went flat on this 423 area. We're trying that on Microsoft. And then, the other name, sorry, it was Google that was close, not at their all-time highs, but that was close to that $100 marker there on Google. So yeah, a couple interesting plays there today, and ready to get, what I think is going to be a pretty decent afternoon. But yeah, for now, Meta stop out is 625.
There you go, and trail out is 625.
Yeah.
I'm a stickler for that one, because I think we always say, like, I don't know, oftentimes we use terminology that we always get questioned. Oh, like, what does this mean? What does that mean? You're fading into the stock. So, like, the example, I want to fade AMD into the earlier resistance level. It's not really the morning range high, because I was corrected on this. Like, when that opening range or the morning range, it was supposed to refer to the first 30 minutes of the day. So technically, this is just like, I guess, the VWAP high on AMD, which I'm into now. What else we got in here? Tomas saying long-term short. What's a long-term short? I'd love to know what's a long-term short. Moderna? You could be talking about Moderna for sure. Tomas, let me know what you're talking about there. Obviously, there's a lot of stocks that have been long-term shorts. I would argue AMD has been in that category. Although, as much as
pretty short-term though, right? Like right now.
Well, Actually, you know what? That's fair. This is not a AMD's channel is not a long-term short. That's a fair correction because it has been in a downward trend since October of last year. That's not a long-term short. But a long-term short would be a chart of like Moderna or CEI or well, there was a new one the other day that we saw. I'm trying to think of. It'll come to me. There was a new one of those penny stocks that's top was like 2,500 or something.
Oh, well, there was that XTIA. There was, but those aren't really.
I think it was that.
I don't ever want to calculate. Yeah,
that one.
Those are such stupid stocks. Like, and just in the fact that like we never compare. You know, it's like DJT or something like that. Like you're holding it for those news-based rallies.
Going all in on Mullen.
We just went another position here. We shorted again Microsoft. We did get stopped out there at the top of Softy at 423, which is fine. I mean, we in and out made money. Now we're up on the stock as it starts to come back down into the downside. We're now 50 cents. Not 50 cents. We're short at 42.55. Sorry. So we're 40 cents in the money on that. Meta, again, if it breaks 625, we're out. It did not break 630. So we could have got out at the 50 period. I'm just kind of use, the $5 mark here. If it goes back down in, we're still long at 609 down here on Meta. If Meta is one of those ones on the board, we'll be able to talk about it. But okay, it is. All right. So let's go over to Sharif and get the rundown started.
Welcome, everyone, to the afternoon rundown. The boys are locked and loaded, ready to look at the tickers as decided by you. So join Joe and I during the How to Trade show during the midday and get into the chat and vote for your favorite tickers. We've got a good 5 today. Let's look at these major averages first, all of them, without exception. All 4 major averages in the red right now with the ES faring the best out of the bunch, only down 1%. Likewise, kind of with the NQ. Here's a look at the triple Qs, down 1.25%. Last I looked, though, was about 1%. The Dow down 1.25%, and the Russell really taking it on the chin today, 2.33% in negative land for the Russell 2000. For the small caps, we'll keep an eye on that. Nvidia, the first ticker as decided by you guys, also negative. Most of these semiconductor names are negative on the back of a new push by U.S. President Joe Biden to curb even more AI chips exporting or export to China.
Out now here, thanks, Sharif. Out here now on Meta as it breaks below 625. We get 625, I think, flat. 624.92, but all is well there because we basically have somewhat of a full position on Microsoft, so capture some profits there as we break below. And our best fill on Microsoft was actually quite nice as well, back there below 422. So just right here, right now, nice little play on that one. And the number one name, like I was saying, a lot X today is going to be Nvidia. So Nvidia right there, we're able to get that long early on. We were very, very patient with it. We sort of bounced it off of that 135. We caught lightning in bottle, man, when it went to the upside there. Some of these trades was like 134, 135, all the way up to 137 and change. Again, looking at the pre-market levels and making sure that we get out. So you just had an opportunity to re-short that one. I chose Microsoft. Looks like we maybe should have shorted Nvidia. We're happy with the Microsoft trade, but Nvidia right there comes right back in, down 3%. I think you're getting ready to buy Nvidia very, very soon if you are thinking that this is going to be a temporary pullback. Again, I really like the stock. I don't think there's a better name moving forward. Obviously, I picked Palantir for yesterday's competition, and it's done really well off those lows today. But yeah, Nvidia still down 3%. Really, really like the stock. It's been number one P&L for a while, and it continues to be that today. Like I said, probably it's 5x my next best stock. So, and great trading there today on Nvidia.
Yeah, the market is still looking pretty good over VWAP, but Nvidia just took a decisive right turn that I think brought some things with it. On the weekly, I actually think Nvidia it wouldn't be ridiculous if it were to minimum retest 127 and if not 112. Like, I just like this kind of year, we might get some really great opportunities this year because of how big things were the last 2 years in the NASDAQ and the fact that volatility is going to be pretty solid this year. So I wouldn't be surprised. We get a 200 period on this in the weekly, or at least close to it, within, I'd say like $5 of that. I think I want to be for sure dip buyer on Nvidia. But what just happened now? Oops. We're underneath the 50 period on the daily. That's at 140 level. And it just did one heck of a reversal here. It wasn't even like a trend reversal. We just sort of took a heavy right turn at 137.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I went into AMD. It is what it is. It's now broken through VWAP, so that one just went like 70 pennies pretty quick. But Nvidia went even more. Like, I guess I wasn't really thinking Nvidia short. I felt like AMD was the weaker name. But we'll get to AMD in a second. I just think Nvidia is going to give us some great dip buy opportunities throughout this year. I wouldn't be a buyer yet because it just lost a 50-period moving average. So as far as I'm concerned, I think that's an opportunity to let it find a new low. And once it goes any kind of a consolidation, if you see it accumulate a couple of days on Nvidia in a downtrend, you just want to be a buyer.
All right, let's go. Go ahead. We were just talking about the dollar club there on Microsoft. Nice trade on AMD as well. There goes Microsoft. We just put it on. Take some more out here. We're short. It's $1. Let's go over to Sharif.
Great trade, Sean. All right, crypto fear and greed index hitting its lowest level, guys, since October as Bitcoin briefly dropped below 92,000. Not much to talk about. No specific headlines today for Bitcoin. But yeah, performing, kind of bucking the market's trend. It's at least green on the day, guys.
All right, yeah, Bitcoin right there, 94.6. So we can have a quick little look at Bitcoin in general right here. Hold on a second, got to reconnect this. There it goes. All right, there it is. So looking at a 1 hour, I like to look at a 15-minute chart. We like to look at the 200-period moving average. And again, today, not a whole heck of a lot going on with that. Bounced around it. So, you know, to get out there at 100,000, that was actually where it was. Broke back down in there, rode the 50-period all the way. And now you're kind of just in a decisive zone of that $94,000 again. So now let's go to a little bit of a bigger time frame. Maybe zoom in just a little bit more. This is an hour. I just wanted to show that there is apparently some kind of support down into here. So we had Michael Noss on earlier today, and we had all looked at this 91, 2, 3, 4 area. I mean, it's all within a couple $1,000s right into there. It looks like it's trying to find some support. I mean, you can go all the way back to November right there, and we haven't broken below 91,000 since November. So we're now into the new year. I still think Bitcoin continues to work. I like these dip buys. I'm a buyer right here. The last time I bought Bitcoin was right here at 94,000. So again, I like it. I'm still holding long on everything. And I would say keep trying to buy the dips on Bitcoin. One of my picks to move forward this year was Coinbase. So I feel like if you get any opportunities to do some dip buying in Coinbase as well, as long as Bitcoin can hold that 90,000 area, this 240 to 250 area seems pretty good on Coinbase. Watch out for the 200 period. But yeah, so far so good there in Cryptoverse. Always nice when it holds key levels, because when that bubble breaks, you know, you don't necessarily want to be caught holding the bag per se, or the wallet.
I saw there's an interesting pattern for Bitcoin. It does, like, after every down year Bitcoin has, it has 3 up years in a row. This year would be the 3rd. So like and apparently that pattern is held true. Obviously it's not
16 years old.
It's not a gigantic sample. It's not a huge sample, but it's one of those, it is on the upswing, no questions asked about it. And I think Coinbase actually looks really good. I think if you look at some of the, what are the words I want to use? Like adjacent sort of names. Like I crap on the miners a little bit, because I think after the halving, they've been under a lot of trouble. And they're distinctly, like, I look at Mara, it's in a distinct downward pattern relative to BTC. I still think this one is a short to pop situation unless we actually start breaking out some levels. I took one shot at Mara underneath VWAP, didn't work, and now it's right back underneath VWAP again. So let me go back to the 3-minute chart. So it's right back underneath VWAP. It double tapped 18 and failed. If we're not going to get a 95 carry through, I guess is the way I want to think about it, then I think shorting the pops on this is going to make sense. Down 3.5% is Mara. I am back into Instacart. Essentially, my thought with this is maybe it comes out of bid, maybe it doesn't. It's NASDAQ, so we're not going to get an early look. But at least until VWAP, every single time it does a checkup at VWAP, I just want to get involved a little bit here. And then as we get closer to 350, sort of assess whether I want to add. If it does come out a big buy, probably going to try to take a long on this, as it's supposed to be a relatively decent size imbalance at the end of the day. But that's still an hour and change away. Looking for VWAP on Mara, that'll be my play in crypto land.
Meta, the strongest of the Mag 7 name on the day, up 2 1/3%, was up a little bit higher than it was now. Looks like most of these social media stocks are trading higher on the back of the possible TikTok ban in the beginning of the appellate court trial in the Supreme Court to see whether or not it will remain downloadable and accessible to U.S. users. It looks as if, though, the questioning coming from some of the justices, guys, seems to indicate that they may be a little bit concerned with TikTok with respect to national security.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the whole problem with TikTok is you sign up for TikTok and you just give all your information away to the Chinese government. But is that better or worse than the American government? I mean, I don't know. Pick your poison. I've never downloaded TikTok for similar reasons to that. Yeah. My kids don't have it or anything like that, but they do watch all that content, of course, on Reels. And
it all ends up... Like I feel
no, the thing is,
it starts TikTok and then it kind of makes it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, anyways, in what is the biggest winner here today on the show, let's say floss it off a little bit, for Meta. I mean, it just dropped. Yeah, it's a pretty good animation. We had a t-shirt with that one on it for a while. 620, so we picked a strong name, right? I mean, we're doing the same thing. Falls into VWAP, bang into the upside right there. The best we got that's $15. We did have higher than that. We did get stopped out. We did have it once. So we had it the first time, got a little bit, then got stopped out. So 2 candles right there in and around VWAP at 610. Bought it once, bought it twice back, and then blew it up to the upside. A lot of outs here, like 612 or so. Then there's a 614. There's a 615. There's 618. There's 620. And there's 625. So, big day there for Meta, needless to say, on that trade. A good P&L name. It shoots up there to P&L number 2. So Nvidia will be P&L 1 on the show. Meta will be P&L 2. And we'll just see where it goes from here. But again, I like the stock. Pennies away, dollars away, but percentage points away from an all-time high is Meta right now. So yeah, good call. And just keep it going, man. Keep the good feels going here with Meta.
Yeah, great trade on Meta there. I don't really have much. I didn't trade Meta today. But I can tell you that we always talk about the Mag 7 and their valuations and sort of like relatively like who's good and who's, I don't want to say bad, that's not the right word, but Meta I think is on the good side of it, relatively speaking. And if you're
softy,
like if you're really close to these highs, like I look at what happened with the bleed in the market today, like the one that feels like it wants to make some fresh highs here is the one that just bounced off that 50 period and broke out to the upside. So I think this is the one that's going to make an all-time high break very soon. The other thing that is making some moves and some waves is Hive Digital Technologies on the NASDAQ HIVE, pioneering the digital transformation through sustainable AI solutions and Bitcoin mining. A global leader in cutting-edge data center operations with over 2,700 Bitcoin on their balance sheet, Hive consistently tops the industry in Bitcoin mined per exahash and is redefining the future by powering the world's most transformative technologies with efficient, green, and clean energy. Learn more by following them at Hive Digital Tech or at hivedigitaltech.com and sign up for the Hive newsletter for updates. Scan the QR code. Check links in the description as well. Shout out to Hive. Let's talk about the Advanced Money Destroyer.
Lots of destruction here, Neil. Blood on the streets for AMD for down 4 2/3. Goldman downgrading this from buy to neutral, dropping the price target markedly from 175 to 129. Essentially, one of the reasons was their concern that a great majority of AMD's PC market might be lost to ARM-based processors as they basically assess that by 2029, half of all Windows run PC will be ARM-based, guys. So AMD taking it on the chin today.
Yeah. ARM has had a really good bid on it recently, especially with when the rest of the chip names have been dropping. And there was someone in the chat, and a couple of people in the chat were saying, is AMD the next Intel? Just because some analysts were saying that. I think that's a bit of an extreme case.
It's pretty close right now.
That said, something's got to give. It's hard to look at this and say there's going to be a buy on AMD, at least minimum until their next earnings, right? Like their next earnings, their forward P is like 20 or something. So if they were to beat, like if they beat and up guidance, then the stock is going to fly because of where the forward P is. So it gets really cheap at that standpoint. And then you're getting into the $100 level where I think under $100, it looks like there's probably going to be a bid down there. But the channel works. The next bottom, I think, is 110 on AMD. So until it gets to that, I wouldn't be looking bounces. Did not get the flat bottom break at all on AMD today, so just basically shorted it off VWAP. I had one break of the low, and then we took it into VWAP, and that actually lost. And we've had VWAP twice and lost. And then it had one good one off of VWAP that ended up getting us green on it, and then now we just got back in at 116.5, play that into VWAP as we speak. So 4.5% to the downside is AMD. Yeah, it's going to be a really big report for them to start this year. You know, they can't afford to miss. That simple.
Look, now down more than $100 from its high. AMD continues to be absolutely clobbered. And, you know, as I said, we flipped over and went Nvidia long, but we had AMD pegged as a short, right? We even said break that 52-week low of 117.90 right there on the sticky note. Missed it early, but, you know, great trade. Neil has it right now. And it's just a matter of, you know, continuously playing. And by the way, Microsoft is the one right now. But we can always talk about advanced micro devices. There it is right there. I mean, still trying to go. Neil's in it right now. Obviously, it's just a 20-cent winner now, but watch out for it breaking off through that 116 and change. $1.30 on Microsoft right now is what I'm looking at. No idea where we're going to go, but for right now, AMD continues to go a little bit lower. Look at the market trying to bleed down. Oh boy, here we go, man. It is trying to go up. Props it up right now as Microsoft coming right back into 420. So you know what we say when there's a 420 around here? We go like this, we go a little bit of that, and then we say what's going on with that, and we say where is this as well, and then we go a little bit of weed Batman, but we're going to put some bids on that stock at 420 for Microsoft, $2 right now on the name. And we put it on with you guys. You saw us put it on. We got stopped out. We put it back on there. And again, just so you guys know, right now, $1.50 in the money. The stop, you know, again, pretty conservative on the stop. So that's how you try to sort of get comfortable with share size. And we talked about that, right? We both talked about how the most important thing about trading is share sizing. And I just think that is, and I talked to Obi about that, and it's really made a big difference in his P&L, obviously, as well, right? And so once you have those ideas, it's about risk and reward, putting them on, and then hopefully getting this happen to you. You're going to get stopped out all the time. I mean, we talked about that Playmaker poll. Was it a winner today?
Oh, yeah. Had to. Okay,
so it's like, 40 or 50% there on the winning side. So even that poll, I think, is still red. Since its inception. So you got to be very, very careful, right? 95% of day traders are unable to make any money, and it's because of risk management and improper sizing. So they kind of go hand in hand. But today, a good one here for Softy. All right, and AMD. All right, let's go over to Netflix, a name that I really like, but I thought it's getting hit with the rest of them today.
Bad day today for Netflix. Bad day.
JP Morgan liking it, keeping it, maintaining the overweight, lowering the price target delta 1,000 from $1,010, guys. They dropped it down to 1,000, a whole $10 there. But most of these companies, shares of companies producing entertainment are lower as the concerns about the California fires could potentially affect production. Overall markets, though, are lower, so it makes sense why this one is down 3 1/5.
You know, that's a connection. I actually didn't consider that connection, and that actually makes a lot of sense. And what I don't like about this is you talk about indicators matter when, this is a weird thing to say, but it's true. Specific indicators matter when they actually are respected and matter on the stock. So why I don't love what is happening today on Netflix is because this rally has really respected the 50 period on the daily, at least the last, when you made a fresh high, and then since the last report, like it's just, the 50 period's been in the absolute review. It's one bounce and then trade away from it. Well, today you just lost it. So this feels like one of those like pivot kind of moments for Netflix where it turns temporarily bearish for me if we don't somehow regain that 50 period really close. So yeah, not a great look. Obviously, I like the stock. So the 200 period is the kind of place that if you're like long-term long, then that's where I'm a buyer for sure on Netflix. But until then, barring some kind of a miracle, to me, this is a short-term short after what has happened today, losing that 50 period on Netflix. Just because we don't usually talk about Disney too much. On the flip side, load. There we go. Well, daily chart. There we go. Come on, Disney. So on the flip side, Disney has a somewhat different look, although very slightly. Like Disney is doing a similar thing at the 50-period moving average, but unlike Netflix, like it didn't crater under the 50-period moving average. It's attempting to essentially false break the 50-period and possibly close above it. So Disney, if it can close above 109.5 today or get back to green, does look a little bit different, and it's got a nice little uptrend going on if it's able to get back into the green side. Then instead you've got like a bottoming tail reversal candle for Disney as opposed to like a trend reverse over there on our good friend at Netflix. Love the stock. 200 period comes in. I think you gobble it up. That's probably something you don't see until worst case scenario. If it gets there, it's probably not going to get there for another quarter.
All right. There it is. All right. So thank you to Brendan. Here we go. We have 491 now thousand subscribers as we get closer and closer to 50,000 on the account. But there it goes, man. Thank you so much for that. Brendo. Yeah, I said it about down here, Ramin. This one, 50,000 in reference to my followers and followers of subscribers. I know, yeah, no problem there. Ramin claiming to be slightly blind.
Obviously not.
There, because, never making any mistakes over on that end. All right, so...
See no evil, hear no evil.
Yeah, hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. What was that? Okay, so right now, Microsoft, we are out of only half of Softy. I think I'm going to take another piece out right here if we can at 421.50. The problem is, again, it's that spread when you're having that. It's fine, but it's got to run you over. It's like if you cross the spread, then what happens is they just jump on your back, and then all of a sudden, it's like you're creating that sort of panic to start to ramp a little bit higher. So we'll wait on it. We'll see. We actually have a little bit less than half now that I see this. I'll have to double check how many shares we had there. Someone asked on the initial sizing. I mean, that's... Whenever we get down into this area, like whenever we have a bigger move that we're kind of expecting, we always wind up getting out of half. So that's why, like when we got stopped out there, I told you we were flat on the stock on the day. So then I just went back in with basically the same amount of shares again at the same level, willing to risk that same out. So yeah, that's just kind of how, I can always try to work on all of that. So $2 winner on the Playmaker poll. So that was a great trade there for everybody that went long. The NASDAQ bounces completely off of VWAP there. So nice little bounce happening there on VWAP for the NASDAQ, which does create, of course, Microsoft to bounce not near VWAP. So Microsoft going to be stronger than the market today, only down 0.65, market down 1.2. But if the market bleeds, we know this is going to work for us. So we just have to wait, and maybe we get a little bit of a lower push here on Microsoft. I'm bidding 420. Maybe we get that. Maybe we do not. Joe, you let me know if you need help wherever Joe is on that spreadsheet, because we're putting in the trades at the beginning of the day. Okay, good. Yeah, so we could just start putting in the prices at 9:30 today for all of our trades, price. Right? Yeah, whatever the open price was. I'm only saying that because Palantir was a pick. It doesn't matter. We're not long, but it's trying to go back upside there. We had written down maybe a $70 short on Palantir. That does not come into play. Only gets as high as 68 right now. Is Starbucks still going? That keeps on hitting these scanners today. No, just because it's hitting off VWAP. So Starbucks was a nice play off this 92. So barcoding down here at 92 and then up here at 92.50. So really tight range, but a pretty successful trade, needless to say here on Starbucks if you played off these two ranges. So yeah, let's just keep on holding tight here. I still like the Google long. Unfortunately, we had taken it out here once it broke through 192. We really liked 192 longs here, and it was really good. Look at it take off, man. We had to wait. For some reason, 191.50 was that bottom. We didn't give it that much runway. But I like the stock because it's green. So, want to play stronger.
There's not that much that is, I think, like that strong or green, at least in the Mag 7 realm. I'm trying to find out what's going on with this INTZ stock. So it just, like, it really just ramped up a little bit here on, like, you can see the volume spike. I just asked Dara if she could see anything on it. I haven't been able to find a news story, but it was up. It was already strong. It was already up, and then it was trending, and then all of a sudden, I zoomed out way too far. And then all of a sudden, like, you just, like, bam, like, you just catch lightning in a bit of a bottle. So I don't know if it was something technical, but yeah, now it's already starting to come back in here. If there is no story or no catalyst, with this one, and I think you got to be a bit careful. Yeah, it looks like it's already starting to come back. And wanted to make sure we went over to cover it because anything, look, if something's running or something's really moving, of course we want to pay attention to it. I'd feel much better about looking for a dip buy and a join if there was an actual story here, but I'm not, again, I just don't see anything yet. So kind of unfortunate. You'd rather there be something a little bit better. John Hassel, this is the name I was going to go to next. Intel. Let me just show you guys Instacart. So for the record, every single pop on Instacart, I'm taking it to the prior low, at least until 3:30. At 3:30, if it hasn't caught a bid by then, I kind of want to be involved in it and have something going into the close. And if it does a bit of a spike, I want to be in position, but it hasn't been a good day for Instacart in general, but it is supposed to be added to the S&P 400. So that's the impetus that I want to keep going over to it. And if it bounces off VWAP, great. But I don't suspect, it's not something that I'm going to get in and start scalping out of. It's I want to get in, and if it makes a base, I want to hold that to 350. Like, that's generally the idea I'm looking for Instacart. Intel, on the other hand, I know it's down 3%, but this is making some serious higher highs and higher lows. The difference between it and AMD, both down, both not looking great, but AMD's at the resistance, 116.5, 116.5. That's why we keep shorting it at this level. Intel is making higher lows. So I think there's a little bit of a difference right now between what Intel's been able to do and what AMD has done. I like the higher lows. If it can, the morning range top where I was short underneath is now a support level at VWAP for Intel. So if it can put in a higher low above VWAP again, I think this is a joiner for Intel. And Carl Gruen, I am out of cart. I do, if it bounces off VWAP, I'm just going to probably get in there again. But the idea being, I'd rather build into something on the way to 330. So every chance it catches the bid, I want to get into something, and then I want to try to hold it. I want to try to build into it. And if it comes out of buy and balance, be in position. If it's gigantic, probably add. But if it comes out of sell, it could be a nothing burger. And we've seen that before, right? Like stocks. What's a good example of a stock that came out of sell and then Palantir. Palantir came out of sell, flipped, and was still a good long. So just because like Instacart could come out the wrong way, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to end up a bad trade.
No, exactly. Taking cuts.
It was Palantir. So it still went up.
Yeah, I can't remember. The Palantir. Yes.
And it flipped.
I mean, Palantir was. Jeez, we had like $4 or $5 on that trade. That was a different beast altogether. But yeah, good call on that one. It doesn't necessarily, just because it comes out one way does not mean it's going to go that way. We've shown you guys a couple different times there on the market what we're doing. All right, let's just keep on figuring this thing out in the market. I mean, we get another fill there. I don't. While I was gone, I just went and got another coffee. We got 421.50s there. I'm bidding, that was 429, okay, 420.99. So the lowest we got was 420.75s or so on this move. So right into there, 420, 40, 420, 50. What was that? What? Okay, because 2 days ago we weren't.
No, we haven't gone negative.
It hasn't?
Oh, okay. I thought I asked you before that Okay, so the Playmaker poll is still running positive. We'll update some of those. So big win today.
It's a dull. I didn't realize what the actual rules were for getting out, but the rules were when you get in, it's a $1 stop regardless, and it's a $2 take profit regardless as well. So I wasn't.
So it's a 2 to 1.
That's the thing. Yeah, it's a 2 to 1. I wasn't sure whether it was like a percent if it goes X% against you, but it's just an even dollar on the SPY. So
I mean, the Playmaker poll, if it's doing well, then it's probably doing better than me trading those futures on the SPY. We haven't traded those today, so good job on that one, especially if it took that $2. Great trade right there. We took 15 on Meta. We're at $1.40 right now on Microsoft in the wild. Like we said, Microsoft, and this is why I'm here to tell you guys about At the end of the day, trading is about net. I mean, that's the reason why everybody's doing this. It's sure, it's fun to sit here and trade. I mean, unless you're one of those billionaires that just, you're like Portnoy there, just throwing out money, going long everything and banging the table on that. We're trying to sit here and actually, show you that there is possibilities of being profitable here to trade the styles that we're giving you, right? And the trades that we're showing you. So if there are any stocks or any symbols like that or anything that you want me to look at, I'll be here to do that. I'm looking right now and just thinking the market's red on the day. We just had a nice recovery. We got as high as the pre-market highs. I'm not including this jobs. Like that number's already in. When I'm talking about the highs here in the pre-market, it's right here just before we opened up. So right into there, 21.2. So that fell right there, fell back in. Tested VWAP, could have broke down. That's where we had Microsoft. We thought we were going to go. It did not. Comes back up into 2100 again, 21.1. So that's 100 handles lower from its spot. Then you bounce off the 50 period. Now trying to break through VWAP. I think the path right now is lower. And the thing is like, if we get stopped out again, we have our targets. So if I think the path is lower, which is starting to go a little bit right now, then what does that mean for our positions? It means we're going to sit on them and try to hold them. So here we go. The market in Microsoft. I am still trying to bid. I'm on the bid at 420.30s. I'm actually going to put up half my position, cancel it, and get out a little bit less if it does go into there. 420.40. We'll sit there, see if we grab a bid, and then try to hold the rest for a downside push there on this. So, all right, Erie Pages, DATS. All right, we can have a quick look over there. DATS.
That was a run of this.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Sharif was trading this as well, so nice move. All right, so what I would look at here on DATS, just zoom it out for a little bit here. All right, so underneath the 50 period, starting to arch down. This is a 5-minute chart. This 580 looks pretty good to me. So I would say a run up into 560, 570, probably a short. A nice little long opportunity there, see you, Sharif, at 520. We'll see if it can run up into 580. So for me right now, I like the short better than the long right now, and that's what's up. So I feel like this is a better setup right now to get to the downside. And then if you're looking for a bid, why not 480, 470, just ahead of the 200 period moving average. So I would say in and around here, 470, 480 is maybe where we settle down. Up 67% though, hard to short it. That is for sure. And then when you zoom back out, that same level that we just gave, which was right in around here, $6, 580. So when you look at this right now, that makes sense. It's also where the 200 period is and where VWAP is. So yeah, we like those levels there for a short on DATS, 580 and change. Oh boy, here we go.
That's doing better than this other one everyone's mentioning, this DRCT. It's up 37%, but yeah, if you feel like DATS is a bit of a short, maybe this is made at bottom, but I would be inclined that even if it gets off the schneid, a full reversal of an entire move on a small capper when the volume is down, I tend to want to not bet on the long in the afternoon. So we probably can't short it because I'm going to guess, well, I shouldn't make an assumption. Yeah, we don't have free locates on DRCT, but that's a full reversal. At least DATS has a really decent chance that it could still see VWAP. This would have to make some kind of a power move to get to it as well. So as I see, George will do it, says DRCT to the long side. I hope so. I just always a little skeptical of the repeat offenders here, and this is one of them. Like big time, like every time you see any kind of a pop, it's reverted very quickly. Sometimes 1 day, 2 days, it's able to get up there. This last one was only 1 day, was able to go. So it's not crazy if it's only like a 1 day move on DRCT. It's definitely done it before. DATS has high borrow fees on your platform. I haven't checked for us. I don't know, did you check if it's free for us?
No.
Sometimes these things are actually free locates for us, but yeah, one of the best things about real trading is like I'm almost certain if I were to pull it up, we're probably talking 1 cent a share on something like a DATS, but it looks much stronger than that DRCT. And 116.79 Salvador is where my stop is on AMD. We just got a reload. I just typed in Salvador instead of AMD. Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, if I'm typing something into the stock window when I'm saying something else, oftentimes I'll do that same mistake. So I got it at the lower high here it's about 79s. So the same level. It's like a triple top here on AMD. If we break that out, I'm not fighting this thing anymore. I've been short like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. One time there's a stop out, although I took profit on the way down, so that was more of a slightly up trade. And then stopped out there for a couple losses, got a win. And this one, it's a higher low after our last reload and looking much stronger than it did before. So, I don't think I want to reload it off the top one more time unless it does some lower highs and starts looking a little bit better. And if I take a chip name, I'm kind of still leaning toward, after this higher low on Intel, that this is the one I want to give a shot to have made a possible bottom. Didn't really mention this in the morning show, but Intel more or less wicked the 52-week low. Not quite, not all the way, but it did break $19, and the actual low here is like 18.5. So it broke the 19, once again managed to sort of find a reversal at that level. I think Intel, it can be a long for a couple of days off that level. It's done it so many times before. It seems to run out of steam every time it gets to $19.
All right, we took another piece out. I just want to show, we got another piece out of Meta there, above, or right here at 421.10s. It was just holding. So here it is, just holding that level. So we decided to take another piece out right there off of this short, still $1.40, exactly $1.45 there on that one. So it looks like a missed opportunity here on Meta by the peering, 620, although funny, we just talked about 20 there, 420 on Meta. On Microsoft, 620 came in on Meta as well. Nice hold there. Walgreens Boots Alliance, wow, what a trade earlier this morning. Sometimes you get just so much volume into a name that it's blast off there. So again, on a name, I can check out what the story was on the Trader TV Live watch list here for WBA today. So what a nice move. It was up right now. So Walgreens gapping up. Oh, earnings. Okay, just earnings of 51 cents per share. It's bigger than expected sales as well. So they beat on the top and the bottom. 51 versus 37 cents on Walgreens. And sales actually grew this year finally. 7.5% year over year. So, which is once dead, which I still probably believe is dead. Walgreens Boots Alliance up 30% right now. We don't really have... We have a Shoppers Drug Mart and things like that here in Canada. But if this is like a pharmacy or like a smaller, I guess it's like a smaller Walmart, I guess, kind of like a Walgreens there. But all right, so more, I remember growing up and there was Kmart and all those things, man. Kmart is pretty gangster, that's for sure. All right, $12 there coming in for Walgreens, great little level. But I think just off the open, look, we always say this, man, fade back when there's a gap, play to VWAP. So there's the big move up, there's the gap, there's VWAP, bang, there's VWAP again, bang. So Walgreens Boots Alliance should have been reloaded, and then you would be flossing, and then you would be getting calls from Warren because he's like, man, I need to hire you. That was a great move off of Walgreens Boots Alliance. Again, when there's a gap, play the fade back to VWAP. Shout out to Brian Shannon, who had taught us that as well. Looks like that was pay dirt there on Walgreens Boots Alliance. Great trading for anybody who's in it. If you do, what just happened to Microsoft? Did we just get filled on something there? No, we did not. Okay, so there's a 200 period moving average. And if you're looking at this name, and as we zoom out, as we just talked about the trade for the day there on Walgreens, I think if you're looking at, continuation, you're obviously going to have to take out this 1250. And then once you use that, then you use the 200 as support. So right now it's resistance on this high side. No idea why this isn't filling up, but I'm going to assume it's right. So 1230, 1250 or so on WBA right there. Good level, came right in again, and a huge trade there today. And when there's a gap, right, just play it right there, back to VWAP. So nice move back up, and then there it is again. Here is the 200 period moving average. That's where the day started, but that's all the way at 7 o'clock. You don't get any love for that until right there. So yeah, set your scanners, get all that stuff ready to go for all of those trades, right? Because that's the stuff that you're talking about. When you see something you believe in, you go for it. And if Walgreens Boots Alliance was something that you liked, then you went for it, and it was a good trade there today. So that's what we're doing, a little bit of a look on a few different names other than tech names there with Walgreens Boots Alliance. Earnings.
It's wild to have, we were saying it this morning, to have that big of a dividend on a stock with the same size short float, like double-digit short float, double-digit dividend. I'm sure there's something else exists with that, but I can tell you, I can't think of something like that off the top of my head. And it's a great look. Probably worth it if you have like anchored VWAP to slap an anchored from every single earnings, but especially one that does that, and just see how it responds to it. This INTZ, which, okay, so thank you, Adara. The only thing that Adara had mentioned here in terms of catalyst was a 7.5 million registered direct offering on Monday. So they do an offering on Monday, so that's obviously, like, of course, why wouldn't you rebound? And 6 million float. So it's a small float. Obviously, they're going to be diluting some of that, so it'll be a little bit bigger. But yeah, just made another run to the high of the day. So it is catching a little bit of a bid. It looks like it's more just a relief rally squeeze, it would seem, on that one. DATS, we already went over. Millennial Farmer, WBA has terrible prospects. I think sometimes it's like momentum is momentum. You know, like the stock has this kind of a downward trend. Sometimes it just breaks out and shorts look to bag some of their wins. And as a day trader, you shouldn't necessarily care too much about the long-term fundamentals. Like hey, it's like having a 28% up day. Do I like this over Amazon? Absolutely not. Would I like it over Walmart? Absolutely not. Like, I know which one I want to have in my long-term portfolio, but without even looking, I can bet you that the better long today was Walgreens. So sometimes as a day trader, you got to be able to grit your teeth. And I've known traders who can't do this. One that sat on our floor for a very long time, and I'll never forget the day that he just kept buying a stock, and we're like, why do you keep averaging into this? He's like, well, the earnings were good. And that was it. And he owned it in his long-term account. And he just believed in it fundamentally. I'm like, okay, well, in your long-term account, you buy on dips. But as a day trader, you can't be too concerned with that. You got to worry about the price action, because during the day, the price doesn't lie. And that's the reality.
Yeah.
Eventually, good companies will, you know, what's the term? There's a good saying for that, like the
cream will rise to the top.
Cream rise to the top. That's a good one.
I think that's the one you're looking for. Yeah, probably. Yeah, so I agree with you. I mean, that's why I'm saying, I even say it to, I told to Fabian the other day and all this stuff, anybody there who wants to listen, it's like, just keep buying the index, man. Buy the best names, and I don't think you'll look back and worry too much about some of the decisions that you made overall. I mean, look, there's going to be bad calls every once in a while, but as we continue to look at what the market's been doing for us, you know, names that are at the highs are obvious ones. This whole big tech space, very, very cool to be in, but could get cooled off. That is for sure. As the NASDAQ still holding that 21,000, so thankfully that is the case. As the NASDAQ right now at VWAP, and I'm still playing the long game here. Like, I'm just waiting for Microsoft to see if it wants to get to the downside and look for other opportunities. I think there's going to be, we were talking a little bit about the retail space. You know, Costco, it doesn't go down too often, man. And if you get anything on this name, you just fell into support, possibly into support again, in and around that. Everything's 20 these days, 920, 620, 420, right into this 920 high of Costco, and then now trying to break through it. We're at 937 right now, but a nice little drip down there for Costco. Like, in, breaks to 50, back up, breaks to 50, back up, breaks to 50. Now looking to take out that $1,000 marker. Again, another name that is at risk, I would say, for a split, and that's always a good risk. We want the stocks to split if you are an owner of said name. So I would love Netflix to split, Costco to split. Every single stock I want to split. Every stock just creates more volatility. So that's Costco. And the other one there would be, I mean, the same thing was true of Walmart. Walmart couldn't get over $60, over 180, sorry, and then it split. Then it hit that $60. Now you're back up through 93 again for Walmart. As that name just forever, there was the split. Hold on. Our charts will fail here. There it is right there. So there we go. So there it is at that 180. It couldn't get through, splits. And then in just a matter of like 2 or 3 days after that, you're at 62, 63, and then you just start to march higher again off of that, now into $96. So yeah, you can't keep these good companies down for very long, especially if that R word is avoiding us right now with the recession. Seems like a pretty smooth landing, especially if we're going to be into rate cut cycle again now, if we are in that area. But I like Walmart. You didn't get much of an opportunity to dip by that one. This does not even break the 50-period moving average there, Walmart. It
learned my lesson.
Just hovers right there. So you might as well get it if you want it. I mean, I'm not, for me, whatever, man. I mean, like I said, my whole philosophy now would be buy some names that I like. We'll nibble in some Intel maybe the next time it breaks back above 20. We'll try to get some of that. But yeah, Walmart, Costco's, all those kind of things. But Amazon's my primary.
It was Baxter that liked Intel.
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah.
He has a TF.
Yeah, he owns a bunch of stuff. He owns
nibbling?
like, I don't know if he's nibbling.
Oh, just.
I don't know what this guy's doing.
Always
1930, little low there. What is the
recent? I think it's 1850 something.
51 I have.
You have 51. Okay, yeah, I said 1850, but I mean, distinction without a difference, right? Like that's pretty much good enough. Crypto FOMO. Take a look at CEG, and yes, Ari Pages is like talking about eating dark chocolate right now. Like, thanks. I probably won't be eating any dark chocolate for dessert tonight. Why? Because I'm starting the daddy tax on the Halloween stuff, and my daughter doesn't have any of that in her bucket. It's January, and the bucket has way too much Halloween candy in it. And once the new year hits, it's like, look, there's a bunch of stuff that won't go bad, but I'm like, come on, like you got to start working through some of this. It gets a little ridiculous. I'm saving it for what? Next Halloween, so we can hand it out. No, CEG. I'm hating myself.
I do that. I get the old candy, put it in there, give it to the kid. Get out of here.
You know what I'm surprised? I'm gonna get to CEG in a second. The thing that surprises me is those what are those? Not Starburst. They're like the Popeyes, and they're kind of almost like a cigarette
stick. Fake cigarettes? I haven't seen those in a minute. Are those still out?
No, I did see those. And I was like, they still do those? I thought there was the kind of thing like, oh yeah, after everyone's like smoking bad, they got rid of them. And then all of a sudden we got one. I'm like, these are still a thing.
I didn't think they were, but okay.
So I pulled the whole smoking is bad for you, and then I got those. Because, you got to give a reason why you'll annex some of the candy. OK Boomer. If they're still around, why is it an OK Boomer thing?
Seems like it's a popular candy.
They're just candy sticks. Just CEG, absolute rocket ship. Yesterday when we were doing our picks for giving our picks, and I was saying, I want a more stable play in the nuclear energy space. And I was like, on my personal account, I couldn't decide between GE Verona, which I do own shares of just because of the spinoff. I own GE, then you own both the spinoff names, and then Constellation. Now, obviously, when I'm like, let's just go with GE Verona, because I hadn't done a super deep dive, and I do like the idea. And then CEG decides they're going to drop a deal, make an acquisition, and blow it out of the water. They're a huge winner. And if you're worried about being in a nuclear adjacent name that has a stance to benefit from all the spend, then to me this is kind of one of the 2 or 3 stocks that you can be in that gives you a little bit more safety is the best word. I'm not chasing this move today. I think you want to look at this and just say it's a great win. It's not doing enough volume that I want a reversion. It's not sniffing VWAP, but it's an absolute rocket ship, and I think it's going to continue. It had a fantastic year last year. I don't see any reason why that'll be abated. The hyperscalers, and everyone seems to want to dabble at new ways to be able to produce power for these data centers, and nuclear seems to be all the rage.
We just got, I like the nuclear. I'm going to try to be as patient as I can, just kind of like with this trading here, waiting to buy some dips there. Right here. 420.60. We are bidding it. It literally just bounced straight off of us. We're trying to take that $2. The market is not going down, but for some reason there, Microsoft did try anyways to make a little bit of a dip down into these levels. So I was sitting there at 420.60 and it did not fill me. So we're still there. Hopefully it comes in and we'll get that fill. But I just want to let everybody know that's kind of something that I'm looking to get filled on here. If it does fall back in, we'll get out of 20% of the position that we have left. And then honestly, the 200 period is at 420 flat. So I'm not going to take that because I want it to break and get into VWAP. Like that's why I'm taking a piece now. So instead of waiting for this 420, which is right there, it's like 420.10s, right? So what am I going to bid? 420.20. So if I can get 420.60 right now, I'll do that and then hopefully be able to hold out for the rest. Oh, I said I would look in to see how many shares we sold all the way up there. What time was this at about? All right, 2 o'clock. So I'm just going to check out to see what that top trade was there on the sell side of Microsoft. Oh, shoot. Okay, I got to... That was not, we only have about 15% left or so of this trade. So hopefully we do get that fill coming back in right now on Microsoft. So, all right, so that's what we're waiting for right now, would be that one. I'd still like the Google long. Oh, it just bounced off 193. That could definitely have been a trade right there for that. Microsoft. Bitcoin now. Make sure you guys hit the like and the subscribe right now. Something's breaking. It looks like Intel might. I'm just seeing that's what sort of why I stumbled there. That's what sort of came across the scanner. Looks like it's trying to break this little spot of 1930, but it's not that great. I think we want like a 1950. I still want to get back up there.
What's the scanner?
It's not.
Is it like prior?
No, it's like this 50 periods. I think it's showing up here. I don't know, but yeah. So, anyways, right there. I don't know why Intel just showed up there, to be honest with you, but 1930, looking like it wanted to break that high. It looks better here. Like it looks better on a 5-minute chart. Here's an E-signal 5-minute chart. That's kind of was like, oh my God, I got to get over here. So there it is right there, 1930, looking like it wants to go. I don't mind that trade. Maybe we have to get of some Microsoft. What's this market? Yeah, the market's trying to go now too. All right, maybe we have to think about going into some longs here, especially in the space of chip names.
I'm just looking at Micron. It's got like somebody selling it $100.
Okay.
For lack of a better, it is what it is. Like I was looking across some of the chip names in here, and if you just look at the $100 level, obviously not the same thing this morning where it broke and then eventually found the resistance. This is now barcoding, not really barcoding, but I guess wedging into this 100 level. This feels like it could be a break. It's green on the day. Looked over, I was like, yeah, Intel looks relatively strong, but this looks really good, at least in terms of the trend. Like you put in that morning trend and you still kind of are holding on to that. But if we break 100 here, you wouldn't even have to have a big stop on it. I think you get a relatively tight stop on a 100 break because it's been barcoding around 99.80, so you can risk like 20 cents on a break for Micron. Just another side note about Micron, if you pull out the daily chart on Micron, this is yet another stock that this morning failed a 50 period on the daily and then makes the recovery. Now, obviously, this is a daily chart, so it hasn't closed above the 50 period yet, but it is a nice looking potential reversal. And if it can hold out, close above the 50 period, get another name. I'd kind of be like over under $100. As long as we close closer to 100, above the 99.5, in the green, above that 50 period, I like the fact that this could make another run back at those highs. Like Micron's been doing pretty well recently, just in the last week or so. So if it can hold that 50 period, still believe it can make another run at that 200 period moving average. And then watch out if Micron can break a 115. How long we have to wait for every time Micron gets up there, you're like, this stock could really go if it breaks 115, and then it just keeps on getting dumped at that level. But yeah, I like Micron if it can close above 100. If it breaks 100, just going to go for the long, stop it at 99.80.
So we just missed that. I mean, now you see Microsoft. This is why you need to sit on those bids. Like we were on the bid, and now all of a sudden it's up against now 80 cents further than where it was last time. So, like I said, we only have 15% left. I'm not going to panic on this. If it breaks 422, we're going to get out of the majority of what we have and try to hold half. So we'll get out of about 10% and try to hold 5 if it does break back above 422. Enough is enough, right? We're not just going to sit in this trade and let it go all the way back there up to the upside. So here's a little bit of a hot list scanner right now with trade rates. So we can have a quick look to see if there's anything going on. This is KGEI. I don't know what that is. Nvidia right now. Here's a chart that will show us what's happening. So Nvidia on a 1-minute chart doing this, looking for volume down here as well. There's the TQ, so maybe starting to pick up back to the downside a little bit here with the NASDAQ. The triple NASDAQ down 0.35 on, or 3.5 on the day, 3.5%. Spiders also obviously a pretty active ticker there right now, 582. You know, really liking, I mean, there's, again, this is just a 1-minute chart, but there's the 200 period at 581. So that seems like that was a nice little bounce spot there. Apple's still on this. See how this keeps on updating? There's Rigetti right now as well. This is the E-signal advantage that we keep talking about. Right there, Palantir moving around. So there's Rigetti right now. Looks like Rigetti's getting a little interesting as well, trying to break below this 950 area, underneath view up, underneath the 50 period moving average. Yeah, Palantir, nice move, right? Only down 1% right now. So a nice move there to the upside for Palantir. And again, I think it might have been this name that might have been looking at 67.70 or so. Nice little top there. Nice little top again on the 1-minute chart. Looks like this quantum name. IonQ is the one today, up 8% right now. Look at it though. Look at the 200 period moving average here on IonQ. Really held underneath there, trying to get back up. So a nice little level there for us. All right, Microsoft, we said we're at 420.60, so we're still there, buddy. So hopefully it comes back in and fills us up there as we play the longer waiting game now. And just look for some names that are moving around.
I bet you 420.69 fills.
Look at 420.69. Yeah, probably. We're at 420.60. Look at Tesla right here. We talked about this name getting green when we were down at 385 or so. It did that. Now you're up to 396 again. Tesla holding fort on the green side of things right now. I'm hoping the market goes down, right? I mean, I'm short obviously with Microsoft and just looking for some of those levels, but not super excited for it because we don't have too many shares, but I still like the position. We could still make some money on it. It's still going to be P&L. Well, right now it's P&L number 2. We got Meta, Nvidia's P&L number 1 just because of the amount of shares, quite frankly, that we had down there. We had a lot. It's funny that we have a $15 winner and Meta does not get number 1 spot. So again, we only had that 10% on the way back up. So we'll wait to see what happens with Meta now. But again, a great trade down there at VWAP 611. This is the thing. It's like trades will come and go. It's how you react to them. Like there's going to be a lot of trades that hit VWAP and just continue to go down. So that's why you got to have your outs and you got to be a little bit responsible with where you're putting your bids and offers. And try not to do this, and it's very hard to do it. Try not to make winning trades turn into losing trades. That's a big sort of tip right there. Yeah. And I know Joe just hit that, but that's kind of like, I feel like it's okay, Captain Obvious there, but at the end of the day, all right, here it comes, man. I don't know if we did get a 420. There's a 420.68. So I guess we might have got, there's 67, 65s. So yeah, we would have got 420.69 right now, but we get to 420.61s anyways. Haha, I said we were at 420.60. But we were at 61. So we get I think it went through anyways. But there it is. We get the fill there. So that's a $2, $1 and $2 winner right there on Microsoft. And now we'll wait for hopefully a downside push here on MSFT and the rest of the market. I hope you are enjoying so far. I was debating, I'm actually going to look. I don't know if there's any good movies in theaters. Actually, my wife probably won't let us go. We have early hockey tomorrow. And then snowboarding.
Well, you've already seen Wicked.
I haven't, but yeah, my daughter went with one of her friends.
Mufasa? I don't know.
She saw it. Yeah, Mufasa. I don't know. Maybe.
I want to see Wicked, but my daughter...
Is Mufasa like more of a... Is that still a kiddie movie? Like, I know it's Lion King, but is it...
My daughter refuses, and I'm with this. I'm down with this. She refuses to watch the live action.
Right,
stuff.
I know she does. Yeah.
She just likes the animated. You know, like those are cash grabs anyways. Look, it's impressive what they do. No question. And my daughter, Sonic 3, I've heard is fantastic. We haven't even, it's crazy, but we're like halfway through Sonic 1 and we just never went back to finishing it.
I never saw any of those.
Apparently it's like Keanu Reeves he voices one of the bad guys in it. Who, Keanu Reeves is great, Jim Carrey's great, but.
Jim Carrey's in it?
Yeah, he's the bad guy.
What?
I
always thought Sonic was just like a Sega Genesis game. I didn't even realize.
I had a Sega Genesis back in the day. I love Sonic Hedgehog. That was a good show. Oh, come on. Just break VWAP or something to the downside. So I want to show Apple in a second, but AMD just kind of came back, bounced off of 116.10. Like, you want it to do what Apple is doing. Like, this is Apple. Apple's not going to the same level and dropping. Apple is making lower highs here, down 2.7%. Like, maybe Apple could be the one. Also, this INTZ that we were talking about, the one that didn't have any news outside of an offering on Monday, which isn't exactly positive, it's holding the highs. So this actually, it's holding 3, it's held VWAP, now you got some higher lows. If it can stay on trend and maybe take a run at this top, like hold these higher lows, break 40, give the prior bar, maybe this is gonna go, because Micron certainly doesn't, after the market came down, doesn't seem like it wants to break anymore. Let's go to Adara, take care of some business.
This part of the show is brought to you by Prop Firm Match. Feeling overwhelmed trying to find the perfect prop firm? With so many options out there, it's easy to get lost. And that's where Prop Firm Match comes in. Prop Firm Match is the ultimate platform to help you identify and compare reliable prop firms tailored to your trading style and goals. So whether you're after low fees, high profit splits, or quick funding evaluations, we've got you covered. Say goodbye to hours of research and confusion because Prop Firm Match makes it simple to find your perfect prop firm. Scan the QR code or visit propfirmmatch.com today and take the guesswork out of finding a perfect prop firm. Also, really quickly, here's some news. Hershey, I'm seeing some reports here from Semaphore that the company is set to announce the departure of its CEO, Michelle Buck. Also, HPE and SWTX moving around here this afternoon, guys. Back to you.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, Adara. As we go, I'm just trying to basically settle down the trades here, figure out, as we get into the hour of power there, lucky to get that Microsoft fill. There's pretty much no doubt about that. So we're happy with it, but at the same time, understanding, we're getting lighter and lighter on, and we'd like to look for some more trades. So if there's anything else for anybody else here that you might want us to cover, let us know ASAP, and we will get on that. I'm not doing a whole heck of a lot. I was trying to look at Tesla at 400, and I actually think this is worth a short, but as long as we're all on the same page of where the cover's at, and I think that the cover should be 400 break. So I think you want to get short in front of 400 and then watch out if it does break it there. What's up, A?
HPE popping up here. You just mentioned that quickly at the end of the ad read. We actually have a catalyst on this now. Something, and again, this has not been confirmed from what I can see, just some circulation here on social media that HPE apparently has won a $1 billion AI server deal for X. So that would be Elon Musk's X, of course. Dell and Supermicro also reportedly bid. So again, this is not in any way confirmed. I have no source for this, but HPE seemingly popping up here on this, I guess at this point, a rumor that it has won a $1 billion AI server deal for X. So that would be not US Steel, but the social media company Dell apparently pushing lower on this, as is SMCI, because they both bid and lost. Again, zero confirmation of any of this, but if I do see any reports or citations beyond the social media rumor, I will let you guys know. Regardless, Dell, SMCI selling, HPE popping.
SMCI
no confirmation. Let's go. Sell.
SMCI was actually having a really good day before that. Higher lows looking like it was going to break out. Still green, but that's going to head to the downside on that news. And of course, HPE obviously getting a bit of a jump. Maybe there's going to be some continuation on this. Let's go back to the 3-minute chart. Wow, it hasn't really slowed down since that news. Like, it's just look at all that flow. It's still doing a heck of a lot of volume. Let's see if we can get a continuation. Where's the prior high in here? 23. Okay, so it makes sense if it pulls back off 23 and that recent support, like 22.65 and 22.50. So somewhere in that range, if it can catch a bid, HP would look interesting. SMCI just can't catch a break. Let them have something. Let SMCI have something. Give them a sympathy contract bid. It's just cold-blooded. SMCI had like the roughest year of any stock. I've never seen a stock do what it did, be as good as Nvidia to the upside, and then somehow manage to get added to both major indexes. Next thing you know, you're getting the boot, you're being investigated. It's just what a rough year that they had. And of course, now taking it, not on the chin, but another one looking nasty. So HPE, I think we identify like 2260 to 2250. If it does pull back, catch any kind of a bid, let it calm down, maybe we can get a bit of a rally here. SMCI, if you're going to look in the other direction, I don't know that I want to chase that. I mean, ultimately, I don't know fundamentally how big of a deal it is. I think you're just kind of looking for a momentum play at this point. Adara, again?
Yes, just to clarify, we do have a source now on that HPE story. Bloomberg reporting once again here that HPE has won a $1 billion AI server deal for X. And again, the reason Dell and SMCI are selling is because also, according to this Bloomberg report, they too bid for this server deal, but they lost. So HPE, the winner here, both as a stock today and also, I guess, just here in this deal. Also worth noting here, if you want to know more about SMCI's rough 2024, we do have a graphic available in Trader TV Research, TTV Research. I will be sharing the link in the chat, so just make sure to check that out, guys. Back to you.
Right.
That one's going to be in textbooks.
Which one?
SMCI's year.
That'll be talk about the back and forth there of SMCI. I'm taking Hewlett Packard breaking through $23. Here on the daily chart, what's up, Fabian? Right here on the daily chart, we just saw $23 a couple days ago. If we break above that on this news, I think it's worth taking. You're only up 3% and a bit. Obviously a huge, I would assume it's a huge contract. Let's see what it does. We do have some opportunities here. It's given us a little bit of a dip there, right? So I think if we break below 50, we'll try to go 50 cents either way right now. Pretty well-structured to me, easier trade. I mean, a dip down would be good. There's no way it should be lower than where it was before the day started. So I feel like if we get some dips into 22 or so, and again, like you never know what you're going to trade on a day, right? And so here comes another name, a name that we haven't traded in a minute here, HPE. We're going to figure that out right now. Hewlett-Packard Enterprise winning that bid, I guess, as Adair had said there, for X and some of that server-side business. So we'll have to wait now to see. I'm going to put a bid down there in and around VWAP because, again, play the gap. If it fades anywhere near VWAP, we want that. So 22.30 or so on that, or a break of 23, and we're going to try it. So here we go. I don't even see it. Like, it's not even on this. Ben's obviously, Adair's word is good enough for me. I'm just telling you that it's not on here yet. And the thing about it is once it hits major media, Adair's got it a little bit early, I feel like, because, or Benzinga's just taking a break right now, but they're just not on here. Yeah, exactly. So Adair is confirming it, so I'm fine with that. I'm just waiting for the ultimate move because I feel like up $1 isn't that big of a deal, really. I mean, if you win one contract, why did you win that? Maybe they have the goods. Maybe their pricing is just better. Maybe there's something about the specs. Like, I don't know enough about this other than it seems like it's good news. I'm a dip buyer of Hewlett-Packard around 22.20.
And remember, this is X we're talking about, which, spoiler alert, is going to get a lot of traffic for obvious reasons in the next few years, right? Like, I think we know the sea change that's happening, so it seems like it's a good contract to have. And the daily chart looks really good on HP as well. It's bouncing 50 period as well. So like fundamentally, this even looks like a good level. It's coming back in. It hasn't caught a bid just yet. I don't think you want to jump out in front of a moving freight train. Not that I would call it a moving freight train, but I want to see it make a higher low, give some kind of a consolidation. That INTZ that we're eyeballing, like maybe this could be the one that goes. So Micron can't get through the 100 level. This couldn't break out the 340. It's still bouncing off 3 even. So if it can do a little bit of this consolidation like it did before off of 3 even, then we can maybe go for a VWAP long on INTZ. Volume still dwindling just a little bit. Looking okay though. So I have that one on the side burner. If it can hold VWAP, we'll look for the long. SMCI continuing to go lower. It was green. It's only down 0.4%, but remember SMCI was, they were up like 4 points today at one point. So, from green to red on this news here is SMCI. It probably is a short.
I had to pay for shorts. I didn't buy them last. I was going to short it earlier today.
Oh, yeah, we have to. That's right. We have to pay for
I like that 34 level on that name, but it's not coming back in.
We used to be able to get them free. And then,
well, they are.
Then all their troubles happened. And then all of a sudden it became one that wasn't easy to borrow.
Yeah, I mean, they're like you were saying, they're going to be pretty much free. I just have to go through and do it. I'm a little lazy. I don't know. All right, what's crypto? 95.2 right now. So here's something that's hitting. Coinbase is starting to hit, and it's just because it's made that move up one more time there for Coinbase. Look at this, falling back into the 200 period, into the 50 period right now is Coinbase. If you like that trade, I still don't. I mean, I'd rather take this at VWAP. If you're going to look over here at this, look at that VWAP bounce again, VWAP right there. I was debating this, but I saw in the Midday show, someone was like, he wasn't flustered. He was just getting in and out. And someone was like, just calm down and wait for some opportunities. And I was thinking the same thing, like when I saw that, and I was like, that's great advice. It's like, you don't need to sort of panic to try to get in and run into all of these trades. Because at the end of the day, like I said, right here, right now, P&L number 2 on the show is Microsoft. And we just started that at 2 o'clock. So like, you never know where the trades are going to come in for you. And right now on Softy, this has, been a patient game. If we don't have any better ideas, I'm not going to throw any money at any of these things. We have Hewlett-Packard now. That's going to be something to look at. The damage is already done on Meta, man. I mean, this one, let's just slap our back and forth. It's not the face slap on that one there. But that was a good trade there on Meta as it's now falling back in right now. So I would wait again for VWAP. Like, do not need to fight these things. I said the path of least resistance is to the downside right now in this market. So we're very close to snapping. We talked about these levels. Like, we like the short a little bit better than the long, but for right now, it's only 313. So lots of time left in this day to be proven right or wrong in this market. So I'm just going to keep doing what we're doing. There it is right now. Meta down to 620. Watch out right now. Incoming possible crash on Meta if we do take that out. And then Microsoft as well. So one's at 620, one's at 420 right now. Come on, Microsoft. Right now, $2 in the money with a bid at 418.50. Right now, where's the 200 period? Okay, we should go to 419. Let's go to 419 right there. There it is, Neil. It is an official $2 now on that one. I think you're still in AMD, right? So AMD short as well, most likely printing. So here comes. Yeah, here it comes. Here comes Microsoft. Take down this 420. We got to wait at. Let's go to 419.50.
419.50.
Yeah,
That's that 50 period on the 1 minute?
Yeah, it's about there. That's VWAP.
Sorry, my bad. It's VWAP. We're at VWAP now on AMD. I'd like to see it break.
Whoppers.
Although, I'll get to that in a quick little second, but you're trying to make a bit of a bottom here on HPE. It's pulled back into 22.5 a couple times, so if it can just hold out. If it breaks down, I think you wait for VWAP. If it holds here, we're going to have an opportunity to go into this. And then the other one is at INTZ, is right at VWAP as well. Oh, never mind. In the time that I went to go look at HPE pullback, INTZ lost VWAP, so that's gone. I didn't pay for locates on INTZ, so I'm not really gonna be getting a short on it, although maybe that breaking at 3 was good. So we just opened another candle attempting to hold 22.5, but it's still looking a little bit heavy and a little bit weak on HPE. AMD, come on, get through VWAP already.
Yeah.
Took some out last time at VWAP, but I want to at least hold to see if we can get to the 115.75, where it bottomed out before the first time we took this trade, and then we just kind of reloaded it. So let's see if we can't get a break of VWAP that at least takes us to 115.75. We're going to hold out for that. We're going to reload probably one more time, just based on the time of day because it's 3:15. If we do bounce here, I can get one more shot at 116 and a half. But that HPE news getting a contract with X that Dell and SMCI lost out on. Up 2 points, still looking a little bit heavy on the tape. There's not any size here at 22.5, but there are some buyers kind of stepping in. I just wanted to close with some kind of a higher low. I close above one of these bottoming candles, and then maybe we can go work along, put a stop underneath 22.50. But I'm not going to catch the falling knife. It's got to show me a bit of an upward turn as well. So there it is. It's actually breaking 22.50. Can't even hold VWAP. It's just there's not enough strength right now in anything. Micron looked strong.
Yeah, I might back away from that.
And then Micron, like I thought it was breaking that 100. Now it's starting to break back down. Looked like it was higher lows into a flat top break. Now that you've got some lower highs, I probably should cancel that breakout until it looks a little bit better. Yeah, I guess we'll have to wait for maybe VWAP on HPE, but these longs, even on the stocks that are strong, it comes into what it looks like it could be support, and we just blow right through it. No reason to try to grab it when it's showing you no indications of working, is what it is.
Yeah, I'm still going to try to bid that 22.30s there or so on HPE, just where VWAP is, just to see. I do agree, though. It's not looking great. We don't necessarily want to take trades. We do not have to. So we'll back away from that. If it's coming in right now, HPE. Neil just talked about it. So we'll leave it for a second. Here comes 420. Come on, break. What is Meta doing? We did have that sort of controversy. Whoa. Okay, props up to that one. We talked about Meta possibly getting a little spicy right there. It looks like, yeah, a little spicy, needless to say here, on Meta as that continues to go down. There's the 620 clean break. Like, come on, man. Like, can't Microsoft get a little Meta flow to it right now and break it and get to the downside like that? Meta, much better of a trading vehicle, at least today, it looks like anyways, than Microsoft. Very aggressive. Look at the futures again. Like, we say this all of the time, man. Props it up to everybody over there trading futures. Like, we say this, and yet I'm not doing anything about it. It was like, hey, look, man, the futures had that downside push. So what's up, Adam DeLuz? Thank you so much for that one. Nice super chat, Adam. Thank you for that. We'll go get, we'll go back to that matcha spot right there. Thank you, Adam.
With the extra matcha
there. Yeah, I didn't get the extra matcha at that time though, but that was a good call.
There was exciting.
Yeah, she told me about that there. The extra shot, the extra little dip in there of matcha. Okay, thank you, Adam, for that one as we continue to just watch out and watch this market potentially bleed down a little bit. All right, HPE, you know what? You're not the, be-all, end-all here, but we did take a little bit of a bid there. There it is. So it takes them out at 39, 38, sorry. As it starts to go back up, we're long at 31. We said we would take that. So for right now, we'll props it up. I don't know if it's going to go higher or lower, but right there on VWAP, we'll sit around let's sit at 44. Then we'll sit, what is that level? 60. What is this little dip down there? Level on HPE. Again, that is, what's this level? 50, okay, so that's where I just put it anyways, 55s. And then, yeah, 65s. All right, so fine. Let's just see if HPE wants to go upside here. We'll get something out ahead of 50, and then we'll watch out for that level 55 right there, and then get going on that. So far, so good here, man. It's been obviously a big afternoon for us as we just continue to watch out for these stocks, and the market wants to continue to head lower. So that was a banger of a call, man. That's that face slapper that we're talking about. We said watch out for that short in the market. Short in the market is in and printing right now. Microsoft, $2, Adara.
We have here WKEY to the upside, WKEY. This one actually has been kind of pushing up all day. Really getting a pop here at 10:15 when they released truly one of the most fascinating, I guess, headlines in terms of trying to, I guess, move market sentiment. So this company, along with SEALSQ, which you may recognize as the fellow small cap ticker, LAES, we know they've been collaborating. That's been a headline for a while. But today they said they're going to be organizing a roundtable discussion at Davos, which we know is basically a tech international conference. So Davos is a big deal. But the name of this conference was really interesting. Cybersecurity in a post-quantum AI era. What happens when you mix generative AI with quantum computing? So basically taking a lot of the big buzzwords that we're looking for in the market today, cybersecurity, AI, and quantum, putting them all into one big press release, and you can see here the market reacting positively with that volume spike around 10:15 when this was released. The other thing that's worth noting for WKEY, which could explain this push to the upside, other than the fact that, as I've mentioned, they have run in the past, we've got a 3.2 million share float, it's a very small float, with an 11.67% short float. So double-digit short float, single-digit float. LAES, which was the other company mentioned in this story, tried to move a little bit earlier today, but not much moving there. LAES has an even larger short float, about 41%. But basically, WKEY with a pretty clickbaity, for lack of a better term, name for their roundtable. Moving it to the upside, guys. Back to you.
Well, I mean, why would you make it clickbaity? Shout out to the Swiss
40 Phil.
WKEY International Holdings.
WKEY?
Yeah, not that I actually would know that otherwise, except for the fact there's a flag next to it when I
Wise guys.
So I did, look, AMD bounces exactly where it did before. If the market does want to continue, I'll probably look for a re-entry if it can bounce above VWAP. We got the 115.75. There it bounced. Instead, if it does, we'll look for a bit of a reversion and then play the next available trade. HP is getting down into that VWAP. I guess it should have just sold Micron at $100 instead of looking for a breakout. That's the thing. If you're bearish, generally speaking, if there's a resistance level, maybe look for the short off the resistance level instead of wanting there to be a strong stock. Sometimes you want there to be a strong stock and then the opposite happens. It's probably going to head down into VWAP. But AMD on any kind of a pop is what I'm looking for next. And then that INTZ is trying to get back above 3 and VWAP. There's still barely enough time that I think it could have a shot if it can catch a bit of a bid, do a little volume, and get back above that 3, hold a higher low. Certainly a possibility there for INTZ, but it is running short on time for any opportunity there. I'm sitting just slightly underneath here. 2222 is actually VWAP on my chart on HPE, and I'm sitting in front of that, but it doesn't seem like it wants to give that fill. It's got now a double bottom at 30, so it's kind of confirming that this could be the low. But if I don't get filled soon, I probably step into the range right in here with that 30 range. The same place Sean's got it. It's just VWAP on HPE. And yeah, didn't pay for locates on SMCI. Anyways.
Yeah, no.
It's coming into VWAP, that's all.
Yeah, I mean, I like that SMCI trade, that is for sure. All right, Microsoft bounced off 420, whatever. We've already got a nice fill there. We did not get as low as, remember, we're at 419.50. We'll see if we can get that. I don't know if we will or not. HPE, we got a 40 fill there, 41 fill actually. We went there and got, and it's right back here. You can get it now if you want. We're long at 31. All we're trying to do is just sort of buy that matcha for ourselves here. If we could take 10 cents on it, it's pretty, well, we're looking for more. I'm just saying, like that's sort of the trade that I have on board right now would be this one. So another move, it doesn't look like it wants to break 40, but if it does, we're waiting at 53s. Actually, I'm gonna go midway through. Let's put something at 44, maybe get a little more momentum. We're still at that 53 level right there. So far, so good, but again, relatively uneventful, to say the least, here on our friend Hewlett Packard. But there it is. Yes, sir. Look, man, we're just having some fun. So there it goes right there. Another winner for you on Hewlett-Packard. So it comes right into VWAP. We take the trade. Pretty simple there. Well worth it for us. Nice move. There's that mid 40 fill that we talked about. 45s, 44s, 45s. Now we wait for 53. Hopefully that will come in. Looks like it'll be a good one for us. Amazon, maybe that's another name that we did not look at. The market's trying to bounce back a little bit. So if we look at the NASDAQ, what time is it? 320s? So 324, 325. There's 2100 again. It's 21,000, but there it is, bouncing off of that level, now trying to go. I mean, if you were short up here and thinking that it wasn't going to be that busy of a day, then yeah, you probably should have covered something around 21,000. So good cover there. That's 100 handles right there to the downside. So congratulations if you are able to catch that. But yeah, since then, man, still on the same tip right now. Hewlett-Packard, we're out of half of that trade. We'll wait to see if we can get some more. Coinbase, 94 and change right now. iBit maybe breaking lower. I'm getting the feelings now of shorting and staying in some of these shorts, obviously, as we hold on to the biggest winner there, Microsoft. We've taken today like $20, $30 like in total on some of these names. But we're going to wait to see what iBit does now. Feeling bearish. Like if you break that 200, I'd rather short right here, 53.75. That's going to look like a level, 75, 75, 75, 75 right there. I like to break lower into VWAP, 53.75. I think we can put a stop order to trigger in if that does hit. So I like that trade, 53.75. They're short on iBit if it does break through. Nvidia,
that's
Tesla.
at 95, man.
Yeah, they're all. I mean, all these stocks are looking pretty good.
Bitcoin just can't seem to get away from the 95.
I'll get another Hewlett-Packard.
Keep bouncing that 92, and it just doesn't seem to want to go. So INTZ did just hold above VWAP, bit of a buyer at the 3 level. Just going to give it to the higher low, right? So this is that higher low in that 290. If it holds it, great. I am back into Instacart. It's like 325. So let me just quickly give you the details. Instacart is being added to the S&P 400. It's expected to have like 13.5 million shares expected to be traded. So I don't know if it comes out as a buy and bounce, but I did want to be, it just bounced off VWAP. I wanted to be long Instacart. And then if it comes out a big buy, I can try adding into the position. So about 23 minutes or so till the imbalances come out. Because it's NASDAQ, there won't be an early look for CART. So we'll have no idea up until 350. It's just going to come the way it comes. And if it ends up a sell and bounce, you'll probably see me punch out of the trade, regardless of where it happens to be. We going to the desk with it, Era?
I think so.
Take a look here at EL, Estee Lauder. This one popping up here with pretty significant volume. I'm not seeing any news catalyst for this spike this morning. So 6:45 a.m. pre-market, not this move. Basically, they announced that Ronald S. Lauder, obviously related to the family, is set to retire from the company's board of directors. But other than that, I'm not seeing any news. Social media, there's a little bit of attention in the last minute or so because of the spike. Some people are speculating it's a beta-related move and some talk about options on this stock as well, but unclear if there is actually a fundamental or news-based reason for this pop to the upside, guys.
All right. We'll figure it all out. Thanks for that. We'll keep on watching some of these news-based plays. We were able to get out of more of HPE there as it does touch out to $40. Now we have less than half left, about 30% as it's trying to break now. Watch out. My stop is right here, breaking through 20. That would be this VWAP. So here it comes in right now. You can see Neil's long at 31s. I'm long right now at 31s. So now we'll wait to see where it goes. But we're already out of more than half right there. So let's wait to see what winds up happening now for HPE as it's coming back down into the downside. So let's go. Microsoft, I mean, you need to break. Let's go, man. Maybe we can get that. Let's props it up. Let's do this here. Where's that do something? There it is right now. We'll see if it can wake up a little bit and get below. It's a trade that we want. It's Microsoft. Hopefully it's going to be that one for us. Breaking a little bit lower right now on Softy Adera.
PLUG. Sorry, guys, there's even more news here as we head into Power Hour. Basically, Hunter Brook Research, not short, but announcing their long Plug Power, saying that they seem to be on the verge of closing their critical Department of Energy loan based on apparently, and the reason for this, I guess they saw something change on the Department of Energy's website. So at this point, they are long. They said now there's a page in the Department of Energy's website that includes Plug's company name. So this could be actually interesting. There's no info yet, but keep an eye here on PLUG. Clearly a volume spike to the upside on this catalyst. So keep an eye here on PLUG. Actually getting a long, or I guess I don't know what the opposite of a short report, long report is from Hunter Brook Research. Back to you.
Just a bullish report. I don't think there is a term for a long report.
Long report.
Yeah, maybe they're just. I don't know if there is even a term for it, but yeah, there's no. It's just like analysts do it all the time. Like there's no word for it. And now obviously, Plug is. What's the nice way to put this? Plug has had a bad run of it recently. But if you look at it, what I do like about something like this on the bottom is at least now that it's going to the upside, you've actually had a rounded bottom above both major moving averages, the 50 and the 200 on the daily. Like it's a different thing when it's at $2 or bouncing off $2 and making lower highs. But when it's actually curled and starting to make some higher lows, I think that always changes the litmus, and it does look a little bit better. At least you're with some momentum on Plug, although the last couple of days has been pulling back with a lot of other things there. So Plug Power, 8%. I don't necessarily love it. I don't think I've ever owned the stock. And even now it's starting to pull back a little bit here. Yeah, fundamentally, not going to endorse it, but it's above the 50 and the 200 period. So there's worse places for it to start. So Kyle, thank you for the super chat. Can I pet that dog? Okay. Mr. Burdette. Mr. Burdette's probably really happy the market's come into the downside. Obviously, this morning when we had that hot number, the market bled. So, Kyle, I know you're in a good mood, and hopefully the trade, I'm sure it's treated you well because you favor that short side of the trade. So congratulations there. I'm making the assumption that you had some shorts going on. Although I didn't hear from you this much. Let us know how the trade's been going. I'll tell you, I didn't really hear from you in the midday there, Kyle, but appreciate you. And appreciate some of the kind words over the last few sessions, especially in the aftermarket show last week. Appreciate you. Instacart, you're not going to see me have any offers unless it gets to the high of the day. But the idea being, if it puts in higher lows, I just want to always have a stop underneath whatever the prior support is, and then look to be taking longs going into that 350. So not much has changed with regards to that. HPE did just wick VWAP, which I have at 22. It's kind of 22.22. My stop's underneath 22.20. And that INTZ, volume, where far out that volume? It just held VWAP again, but the volume's really dwindling on this. So with only 30 minutes to go, I like that it's holding VWAP, but the volume started to come back into it. We grabbed the long over 3, but it's really struggling to get itself going here. So it might not be the one. And just to get this out, if it doesn't go in the next couple of minutes, I might have to start getting it out flat on that bad boy. Ronak Kumar in the chat. What are your opinions on Dollarama in the long term? Ooh, that's a good one. It's load. Okay, there we go.
See load letter.
I want this daily. Let the daily chart load for a quick little second here. So this is one where it's had a really good run, and for anyone like Dollarama has had a completely different fate from the dollar store names in the U.S. It's been a banger. Probably the reasons for it aren't the best if you talk about the Canadian economy. But that said, it has been an absolute great trade. It's just unfortunately it's made a reversion, and it looks like it's trending back in. So the upward trend has been broken off the 50 period. So I think it's probably headed for a little bit of a dive to the downside. I've never personally owned the stock, but I can tell you that they do really well up here. It's always packed. They get lots of business. I just suspect it's in a little bit of a correction. The 200 looks good, but I think the bigger support level would be support from when they had their down earnings, and that'd be down at like a 120 level. I just fear that it had a great rally to the upside, and you might be seeing the back end of it. Adara?
What we're going to do here is take a look at these performers in the S&P 500. As you can see, and you can kind of tell here based on the performance of the indices, it's been a really weak day. A lot of these names are blood red, so I thought it'd be interesting to take a look at some of the tickers that are actually sharply positive on the day. As you might be able to guess, it's very few, I believe under 10, and all of them have strong catalyst or their sector-wide sympathy plays with other names. So we're going to start here with CEG, which has brought up some of these other utilities-related names, notably Vistra. Constellation Energy here announcing yet another deal. Bloomberg reported that the company was in talks for a $30 billion deal to acquire Calpine. Then the company this morning confirmed that they are acquiring Calpine, but actually for $16.4 billion. Great look here for CEG, which claimed that $300 level is still holding there right now. Then we have DAL, Delta, and some of these other airlines, most notably UAL, trading higher on the day here after its earnings. CEO Ed Bastian says that he thinks 2025 is going to be one of the company's best from a financial perspective, and they did beat here on earnings per share and revenue. Last but not least, WBA, another earnings play here. This one also sent CVS to the upside in sympathy. Target as well, because they have a pharmacy was moving up a little bit earlier in the day. But Walgreens still up about almost 28% here, basically reporting higher than expected revenue and earnings per share. Though their guidance for EPS was a little bit tepid, guys. Back to you.
Tepid guidance. I like that.
I like that CEG with Calpine there. Good little value play in this space. We talked about that. Neil's like CEG for a minute. Yeah, up 75, up 25%.
I backed the wrong horse though. I like
Netflix. Oh, it doesn't matter. It's only day one right now.
that was coin flip. Ah, well,
yeah, it's okay. It's all good.
The funny thing is, they're like GV and Constellation. Like their charts on the daily. Like they both look so good. If we could just for a second, if we can come to my charts here. Like if you look at G Verona. There you go. Like it's looked absolutely fantastic, and yesterday you're like, which one do you like a little bit better? And GE had been holding highs much better than CEG, so I kind of went that way. And candidly, I have shares in my personal account, so maybe there was that kind of a bias. But yeah, Constellation is an absolute banger. Oh shoot, there was a question about SMR earlier, because when we were talking about nuclear,
right.
I had been asked about SMR. A little slower in the afternoon here. About SMR, and I do think that. When you've got the quantum bleed happening, I know this isn't the quantum name, it's a nuclear name, but growthier names. When you have that already happening, and then you throw in the fact that the chances of getting some cuts are going to be a lot lower this year, especially after that number that we just had, things that are capital intensive, things that are not making money, things that have low amounts of revenue, you're going to have a little bit of trouble. So I'm not very short-term bullish on SMR. I do still think at some point this year I am buying more. I was pretty sure I was going to do so in the first quarter. I'm not as sure about that anymore on SMR. I might let this one, because I think these are shot plays. I do want to add to it. But, if it's going to lose the 50 period and hold downward trend, then why not just wait to see it make a new low and try and grab that? Maybe you get like 12.5, 13 again off the 200 period moving average. That's one of the reasons why I was looking at like the CEG or the G Verona to maybe take a safer play where you get exposure to a nuclear name. So yeah, SMR might be it's up 2% today, so that's actually not bad. But I'm not really a buyer in the short term anymore.
We did cover some Microsoft there at 420 as it does not break. We wanted to look at Netflix for a little bit, but let's take a quick little look at one of our affiliates here. Make sure you do scan that QR code right there, eSignal. We've showed you some scanners here already today. Look, man, I like the platform. I think that if you are going to trade, and I've used this now for 22 years, it's just a reliability for me of the platform and just what that offers and what that means. So I don't think you can put a price tag on having consistent data that is trustworthy, and that for me is our friends over there at eSignal. It's also entitlement based. So if you're one of those traders that's looking for the advantage maybe of trading ADRs or different markets at different times, maybe you're someone that just thinks about the market 24/7 and can't get enough of trading. Like you're sitting here yesterday when the day is off and you just wish the market was open. eSignal might be that thing for you, where again, you look at Trade Ideas and some of the other competitors, they have ETFs. They don't give you the opportunity to grab many different indexes. Like for example, the CME, you can grab those NYMEX as well as an exchange, and letting you trade futures seamlessly, everything, second tick candles, charts, back testing, stable platform. We like eSignal, and I want to thank you for listening to that little spiel, and make sure that you do click that if you are interested in supporting us through eSignal. So again, trade harder, or trade smarter, not harder with eSignal. All right, Netflix is coming back down, still down that 4% right now. Again, like the stock, but not acting the greatest here is Netflix, and trying to break through the low of the day at some point here. NFLX, look at the market, man, bleeding down in, but look what we bounced off of again, 21.1. So just be careful with all of this here on the market. Netflix trying to go down. We've already captured out, so we got out there at 20. We got $20. 420.17 as we're getting less and less. Our stop is still here at 422. If we break that level, then we will get out, take the 50 cents and run with 338, getting very, very close. We still have this add-on, which is still completely fine. Fabian, my guy, We got to put that thing on a loop.
Scan the QR
We got to
code
stop
below.
that, man. I was just talking there for a couple minutes right there. No, just playing around. Make sure you do scan. That's how much we believe in it.
You get it voice activated.
That you guys had that there. But there it goes, man. Nice move upside there for Microsoft. Watch out for that 422. There's our out initially on MSFT. So, yeah, man, all good here as we get ready for the recap show. No guests. Adair and I will take some Q&As. So if you do have any questions, I mean, Adair has been over there at the desk all day. We can talk about her trades, anything that she likes. Put in the chat. Bears versus Bulls. If you do see any questions there for Adair, get them to her and I and write them down, and we will be able to answer those.
The other day, the last time I did the market recap show with Adara, she actually called out the flat bottom break. The old, where is it? We have a graphic for that. On Boeing, which it is what it is. I was like, that was if you had it this morning, this is what I'm getting at. Like that 170 level, like look at how clean it had been holding on the bid. On the daily chart, this is that, I gotta zoom back in, that's that 200 period moving average. It was a clean breakdown. Obviously, it's made the recovery. I love what Boeing just did. This is a great look. Anytime you liquidity grab like this, like yeah, the 170 short obviously worked, 69 would have worked for you, but anytime you liquidity grab underneath the bottom and can just eliminate it all and just go right back to green, assuming in the next 20 minutes it doesn't dump because it's only up 0.2%. It looks like it wants to close green, and I do like this. I think next week, there's almost no way that I'm not bullish on Monday on Boeing, barring something crazy happening in the next couple of minutes or so. Thank you to Marty. Marty with the super chat once again. We love you, Marty. Appreciate you. Glad I found this channel. Great experience, and has changed my trading for the better. Old dogs can learn new tricks. Hope you have a great weekend and can't wait to see that Bronco hat. Because you super chatted, I'll read the whole thing. Cheers. You know what? And I promise you this, Marty, and this is, you can take me at my word for this. The Bills are going to win, but I'll bring the hat and at least show you guys the hat. Maybe I won't wear it, but I can.
Oh, we have a Broncos hat?
I'm getting one. I'll get one this weekend. Actually, I have one coming on my house on tomorrow. I think it's going to be delivered.
Okay.
But yeah, Bills will win, and they'll cover the 9 or the 8.5, whatever it works out to be. I think it's 8.5. They'll get that win, and I'll bring the cap regardless, just so you guys can see that I did have it. But I'm not going to have to wear it, obviously, because the Bills are going to handle business. So thank you very much, Marty. Appreciate you.
No more Bo Nix hats coming.
I like Bo Nix.
So do I. I think
actually.
he's gonna be
He's
great.
a good player, man.
Yeah. All right. So it should be a fun weekend, man. I mean, I'm really looking forward to the games tomorrow. The first one should be a great one. Chargers Texans. I think that's great. I think the Monday Nighter is great as well, where the fraudulent Vikings take on the Rams, who I think should be able to win a little bit there as well.
It's still kind of home field, but not the same when they have
That's
to
the
go
thing. Is that official now? They're going to Arizona?
Yeah, officially.
Okay. Yeah.
Unfortunately, with the Fires, they got to go to Arizona and play. But
yeah, they'll be ready to go, man. Those teams, no matter where they're playing. But that is unfortunate. We do wish we haven't even mentioned that there. Some of that stuff there in California is
it's
quite
scary
wild. I was saying to my wife, like, we're so lucky that we live in an area that has zero, other than like, I guess, cold spells or like maybe getting locked in your house a couple of days.
an ice storm a decade.
That's
ago,
what I'm saying. Like, so there's the odd situation. I don't want to, some people have obviously suffered through.
Yeah, we're very
different.
We're very fortunate.
Yeah, like nothing like that for sure. I don't know about you, but we are still zeros on HPE. We got out there to a flat trade on HPE, so I'll be flat. Obviously, I don't know if you had any outs there or not.
No, my outs were all in the 50 range. I was looking for. Here, come to my chart for a second. Jeff, I haven't zoomed out, so this is that support level. So I'm not taking anything until here. Right, so if I'm giving it there to there, that's 10 cents worth of risk. I'm looking for it to break out the 40s into the 50s and 60s into that range. So try to keep it a little bit binary. Cart, it's now 7. Okay, it's kind of working because it's 7 minutes till the imbalances come out here. No matter what, I always have a local stop before an imbalance. But in this particular case, if it doesn't come out a buy, I am 100% stopping out at a fresh low. On Instacart. It's holding VWAP for now. If it comes out a bid, I'm going to look for a place to add. If it comes out a sell, I'm going to punch out and hopefully it'll flip. That's the other thing. At 350, if Instacart comes out as a sell, I'm still going to track it the whole way. If it flips to a buy, I'll probably try to punch into some kind of a long. So even if Instacart comes out against me, I'm going to still look for some opportunity to play the long. I've just sort of been in it with a stop at the low every single time. kind of nibbling in as to how much I would usually take at a closing trade. I have a fraction now. I do not believe in going all in until you actually see the imbalance in your favor. I think that's the shot where you take some real shares when you actually either see it going for you or when the imbalances come in your direction. I think that's always a different sign. So 6 minutes to go till the imbalances. I haven't seen any early looks that were that enticing, but we can pull it up there again. HPE is an early look buy, but that hasn't seemed to matter, obviously, with some news. BAC, the banks usually, they have imbalances, they flip, they pair off, they don't tend to matter. Uber, remotely interesting for an 800,000 sell. And you won't see anything early on the NASDAQ, but I'm expecting Instacart's going to have one way or another good open interest.
It'll have something there because we had sort of talked about it. What's going into the 400? Is that what it was?
S&P 400, yeah.
Yeah, so you just get some different changes here in that. I mean, I'm not really on HPE. I'm trying to watch out to see if we can get that break, but I am nervous. Again, we only have like about 10% left of this position. Not nervous in a way of like, oh my God, I'm nervous about what's going to happen. It's just the imbalances do come out and could affect us. We are bidding 419 flat right now to see if we could take $4 on this trade or $3.50 on it to sort of match with some of the damage that we've done. I mean, since this afternoon show, we've only had on Meta this whole time and HPE. So HPE is a flat stock and Meta is a big one. So far so good here. Nvidia, my number one stock, we really, either responsibly or not, layered into this thing pretty heavily down there at that downside and pay dirt, needless to say there, on Nvidia as it prints out for us and gives us that number one trade P&L wise there. But here we go, man. Microsoft is the last name on my list. IBIT looks like it's trying to go lower. I've canceled all the stop orders now. I'm not going to be in anything. We were looking at IBIT breaking that order right there, 53.75, but coming in, there's the bounce off the 5-minute chart. So it looks like there's some kind of support, but Bitcoin at the end of the day, 94.6, 94.5, kind of not doing too much. Rigetti was a absolute banger of a trade there today as well, but we had left it out. There it goes to the downside. We had said there's more pain to come, unfortunately, in some of these quantum names, but it was a 70-cent stock in October, November. So just understand that. You still have a way to go, I feel like, to the downside on Rigetti. But again, a positive comment. Jensen comes out with one thing. Elon could come out with something else on the weekend, and these things open up 20, 30% higher. So just be careful with all of that. I'm going to just rest right now. We only have Microsoft. We're waiting, man. We'll be at the highest spot we've been at today. It's a big-time successful day, and I hope you guys are having similar successes as we wait for these imbalances to come out.
Ooh, some Tomas and DJK saying Rigetti. Well, one says Rigetti's crap, the other one says it'll return to $1. Yeah. I can tell you that
That's
it was.
The thing about it.
Martin Shkreli thinks Rigetti was. I think he had a $1 on it as well, and then he had 1 cent on D-Wave and 1 cent on the other one, QUBT. Right. And then he had $11 fair value on IonQ, which IonQ's kind of IonQ's kind of strong today. So if you're looking for the quote-unquote safe one, a lot of people will say that is it.
So Martin Shkreli calling all of these trades zeros, basically.
Essentially.
Right? Like price target of 1 cent?
No, Rigetti's $11.
So higher than where it is now.
No, Rigetti's not Rigetti, IonQ.
Oh, IonQ.
But that was like IonQ was at $44 when he said that. So it's like it's still.
Yeah. But 1 cent on all the other ones basically means
he's saying the company's worth nothing.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. No, but if you read his spiel, that he was literally saying that.
Yeah, I know.
That they have absolutely nothing going. But it's momentum that got it, to be sure. So only 2 minutes to go till the imbalances come out. Ideally, this doesn't break contain a cart before 350, but if it does, I don't mind getting out and trying to get back into it. That's we'll see what happens when the imbalances come out here. Like you said, there's not too much else to look at least for me. There was no other big index actions that aren't like small deal related where it's like one stock getting exchanged for another. Those are never a lot of fun. This being added to the S&P 400 with 13.5 million shares expected. So one way or another, I'm expecting decent open interest on it. Whether or not it comes out of bid, we'll be able to see. I did want to, Kyle Burdett just said U.S. Steel is up today.
There you go.
I feel like that's I don't know. I'm not a huge believer that this deal is going to happen, and it just keeps on catching a bid. Cleveland Cliffs doesn't seem to be interested in them anymore, and there's some bad blood going on between them. Yeah, it just keeps on catching bids. So somebody likes this thing. every time it dips in there, even though the deal, again, I think it's got to be trading not on the deal. I would be much more interested, if you like a steel play, like let Nucor catch a bit of a bounce. It's hard to like U.S. steel when Nucor keeps trending to the downside, and then the deal's not going to happen. If Nucor was catching a bit, I'd feel better about U.S. steel. Everybody hit that like, hit that subscribe. We appreciate the super chats. We just want you to enjoy the show and pass it on to all the other viewers. Xenon, thank you for this super chat. Does anyone in the organization trade the Nikkei or the Hang Seng? I can confirm that is a no.
In the organization lots.
On the trading floor.
On our show.
Sorry, no. On our show, no.
I mean, the market's closed.
At real trading, yes. At real trading, lots of people trade those markets, but here on this floor, no. Nobody here actually does. There was a brief period of time when Sean and I had our own floor that we traded the London Open. I think I lasted 4 days before I realized I needed more sleep. I think you lasted a little bit longer than I did.
Oh yeah, I was trading midnight, 3 a.m., 2 a.m. all through. I
did it 3
am
times.
very into this. But yeah, sleep very, very important. All right, so yeah, the stories I can tell you about some of those nights. Okay, so just real quickly here coming in.
I remember one of them.
Yeah, all right. So Microsoft is starting, it's still bouncing around 420. Again, deals and balances are coming out, so let's get those all set up. Neil's on Instacart, so he's going to pay attention to that. I'm going to go like that, and now wait. So with only 15 seconds left, we will be able to see what's going on. I am bidding Microsoft down at 419 in case that is a sell imbalance. It's been a big day. This is one of the biggest days for me in January. So far, so good here. We don't have really any losing stocks today. We have one losing stock, Google. And we could talk about that. There it is. The imbalance is now out. It's Apple with a sell side right now. So that's starting to pick up a little bit there. Apple sell side starting to pick up some excitement. Microsoft does go down, but not really that far. I'm going to put a bid here. If we can get it at 80s, we'll try it right now for Sir Softy. See if we get it. Bang. There it is, man. The money tree is now coming through right now on Microsoft. There it is right there. $3 winner on Softy. So let's go, man. We're going to be at the highest spot we've been at all day. Today, we're happy to do it, man. We'll hold up the trophy right there today for a big day. And right now, Apple making the move down. Open is here. Amazon is here as a sell as well. I don't see your cart, but you tell me what you're doing.
I just I had to search for it. So there isn't much of an imbalance on it. You know what? It's literally at my entry price. I see 40,000 shares, which is incredibly disappointing.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
So yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Here, I've got it on this one. I have only a NASDAQ one. Like Instacart's like absolutely nothing down here. Like 40,000 and no paired. So if that's like, that is not at all what I was expecting. I thought there'd be a heck of a lot more. So it happened to miraculously bounce on a nothing imbalance. So I just punched out flat. Like, I'm a little surprised by that. Let me double check. Yeah, we'll see what happens. But maybe it'll happen next week. Certainly. Apple is the big one, and of course, Open as well, and then IQ, which Sean also mentioned. Raju just asked about Snowflake. Was that on the imbalance locator?
I didn't notice it.
Nope. Or it could just be randomly. Maybe we're curious about Snow.
It must be. Snow had a huge move up.
Yeah, it did make
recently. I mean,
Snow made a decent. Yeah, I mean, a little bit of a bounce. So it's possible that Snow had a bit of an imbalance, but. I actually I still hold the final third of my swing in Snowflake. I said I was going to hang on to this bad boy unless it lost the 50-period moving average to give it a chance to break out at 190. So I still have a piece of this when it made that bottoming break away from the 50-period. But I do have a trail on this under $150. I never this was always going to be one of those. If it turns into a hold to the highs, great. But if it loses the 50-period moving average, it was always more of a trade than anything else. So as I look back at it, it actually might threaten that. It's great that it's up 1% today, but I could see myself getting trailed out of this long in the next week or two on Snowflake. Couldn't really sustain that move. It was a good one, 120 to 190, but doesn't hold on to those gains very, very well. Snow's got a ridiculous PE.
Yeah, I like it though. I like that stock. Yeah. I'm in that Snowflake there. I have to double check the position as well. Just like PanW and some CrowdStrike. I got to start looking
they don't
at some of
report
these
till
things. I've just been way too
end of the
distracted
month.
with so many other things.
February.
Okay, so good out there for Softy. Obviously, we're getting lighter and lighter on this. I might just take an opportunity now. The market, I'll get out of one last piece here. We'll bid some 30s. Maybe we get them, maybe we don't. There it is. We bid some 31. So it's $2. Okay, here we go. It's $2.30 into the money. We only get filled when it goes with us, right? So you got to sit on the bid to take those bids. So right now we are almost out of this position, about 5% left. Just letting it go, right? I mean, if this can get back in, just kind of like Anna and Elsa, we'll let it go, and we'll see if it can get down to that bottom area here on the futures, and then we'll punch out, right? I mean, if it takes 419, that is VWAP, and we'll be happy if and when we get that opportunity down there. So, yeah, man, so far so good. What's been a big day here? I want everyone to have a great weekend. No matter what you're doing, be safe with you and yours, man. Give your kids and loved ones big hugs all of the time, because pretty soon, I guess, we are all going to be family as United States and Canada apparently are going to merge very, very soon. So that should be a lot of fun. I just hope that we don't have to worry about the PDT rule and things like that, because then your boy will be in a big time.
I don't want those. Yeah, we can do without some of the financial rules.
Yeah, we'll do without that here in
that'd be a hard pass.
Yeah.
No, the easier travel would be nice.
Well, without the we don't have too many problems right now with passports or anything like that, do we?
Well, you still have to. You have to have your passport. You'll have to use your passport.
Yeah.
You can get like Nexus, which is if you do it a lot, which makes it a lot easier to go through. Not that I have that.
No, man. Like when we did a tournament in Buffalo, and we were over the Rainbow Bridge as if there was no lineup at all. So
yeah, driving across is great.
Yeah, driving across is great. The thing is, because the U.S. dollar right now, the Canadian dollar is getting smoked. So I don't think too many people traveling, over to the United States right now from Canada.
But if we're in the AFC Championship game, oh no, that's right, we didn't get.
Yeah, you guys did.
And then I got ahead of myself. I'm like, so anyways, I'm a Buffalo Bills fan. I just obviously the Bills are never going to host a Super Bowl. So like the best opportunity would be the AFC Championship game.
Right.
So I'm just like the year that happens.
They'll host a Super Bowl.
Well, the new stadium, the new stadium's fantastic. But until they get the new stadium, the best game that you'll ever get at the old one, which is only one more year, would be to host an AFC Championship game. Which of course,
that's true.
Of course, they haven't done that in quite some time. So I was kind of looking forward to the potential of that this year, and unfortunately, it didn't happen. So I was about to say that AMD stopped moving. Well, AMD just broke VWAP. I'm not going to take a reload with it at 355. But AMD actually going to close above VWAP, down 5% today. So let's not get it twisted. Today was another day in the doldrums for AMD, catching a downgrade. Long this.
What's up, Long?
Shout out to you. Thank you for the super chat. Not a merge, more of a buyout. We want the poutine.
Yeah, you're allowed. You can have that, man.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you this right now. Trust me when I tell you, beaver tail here, poutine. Poutine's good, but the beaver tails are the best thing we got going for food in Canada. I have a sweet tooth. It is what it is. Kind of like, think of it like a funnel cake, but like a Canadian dessert kind of thing. And I like it just cinnamon, kind of plain. I don't need any of that fancy stuff on it.
Yeah. For me, poutine trumps those beaver tails, but we're all good, man.
You can't live on beaver tails. You can probably
poutine. You got the cheese, you got the gravy, you got the vegetables, and poutine.
You got most of the food group.
All right, so 356 right now, and we're getting close. We just put it back in. We just bounced off there. $4 it was in the money as a diamond hand man. I don't know if we are that or not, but we've had some big wins today. $15 on Meta right now, $4 on Microsoft. Hopefully, if that does print down in, we'd like to get that print, of course, on this name. So we'll wait for that to see if it comes in right now. Microsoft back down. I'm bidding $419.30. Hopefully, we can get that by the time this day is now over. Quick check-in on Rigetti. More downside moves there. So that kind of sucks for Rigetti and any of those shareholders as we wait to see what's going to happen now on Monday. Like, I'm just a little bit nervous about some of these plays. Well, obviously, we got the cold water there from Jensen and company, just Jensen. But there goes Rigetti right now down 12+% and looking to get a little bit lower. I was looking at $6 as maybe a stopping spot there for RGTI. I might just bid out of Microsoft right now. I don't know. In the last couple minutes, there's really no point in me dancing with this devil. So we'll possibly get out here of Microsoft and then just deal with it afterwards. Microsoft, nice play. Give me to me. We're right at 419 and change, so maybe we get it after all. Let's just be patient with this. We're going to go over to the big desk in just a couple minutes. Remember, any talk there for Adair and I, any questions, get them through the chat. I'm sure she's down for answering those as, there we go, we already got the answer. She is down right there. So yeah, should be a fun one there into the close.
Absolutely. So get those questions in. Always a good look. Rogelio, beaver tails are not like oxtail. Beaver tail is a pastry. Oxtail, delicious, West Indian dish, but no, beaver tail is a very, very, very tasty pastry. You can go anywhere here in Canada, and you don't go too far without finding it. Oh, want me to show a pic? Here, I can do that.
Yeah, just like a long pastry. It's like a tail, right? It's like a long pastry. We showed them the other day. We
did show them the other day. Here's a bunch.
Yep.
Now, see, my beef is, this is how I like them, right? Like, it's just plain cinnamon or that, like a little more traditional. Some people like to do, like, clearly this is some kind of a crazy, like, Reese's Pieces or, like, all this fudge. That's too much. Like, it's sweet. Like, that's a little bit too much for me. You can just do it plain. It's absolutely delicious. And they're usually pretty sizable. So for those that are, I saw some of the stuff you guys were saying in the chat with the Dirty Minds, but no, it's just a delicious Canadian pastry. So we're not going to become the 51st state, but if it does happen, you guys are going to inherit some tasty food for sure. Carnival food, 100% all styles. That's a good way of thinking about it, like carnival food. Like
that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, go to like any fall fair.
Yeah, exactly.
That you'll find a beaver tail there here in Canada.
Yeah, you can go get it at Nathan Phillips Square as we speak, every day. All right, so we are just out of absolutely everything. So that's it, man. We will end the day with big time trading here. Again, today's like every day this market is open, I feel really happy to be here and doing that exactly. So far so good here as we get ready to close this out. Just a couple more minutes left and we are done. Only 30 seconds to be exact before you join Adara and myself on the after show. So just a couple more seconds and we'll be ready to rock and roll. All right, Neil, man, 20 seconds. We are now out as Microsoft goes into 419. That was an absolutely blast off of a trade there on Softy to end the day. So here we go, man. Only 10 seconds left, and it's Adara on the screen.
Brought to you by Hive Digital on the NASDAQ, HIVE, the closing belt, and the week in one. Ring it, Adara. Shout out to and thank you to Hive. Scan that QR code that you just saw in front of you. You can rewind to go grab it. Another good day of trading, and maybe not in the market. The market's down 1.5%. I can't spin that to be good, everybody. The market down. Actually, the ES down equal to the NASDAQ. So the days of the ES not falling as much as the NASDAQ, no, it was a bleed across the board. I'm actually not sure how the Dow did because I don't usually track the Dow, but my guess is it was not a good day for the Dow. How could it be? You had to pull back in some of the financials. Do I even have the diamonds on my quote board? Yeah, I do. Yeah, 1.5% to the downside on the diamonds as well. See, I care about the Dow every now and then. No, I really, really don't. But at the end of the day, a few names just to go over for you guys. I mean, Tesla, once again, flat, but rejecting $400. This is not a real wick. The low on Tesla was more like the 380 change level. But another bad day for Tesla as it's just stair-step to the downside on them. Nvidia, like most of the other chip names, takes it a little bit on the chin. You're going to close pretty close to the lows. We've seen this before. Like, it's not necessarily a good sign when you want to close on those lows. And we had that hot number. You're going to have a lower probability of any cut coming. We're not going to get one the next meeting, but the odds are also dropping that you're going to get a cut in the meeting after that in March from the Fed. Going to give a shout out to Fabian and Ramin on the ones and twos. Thank you so much, doing a fantastic job shooting some socials, and we'll have more of that coming with a man Andre who's got the headphones on. He's locked and he's loaded. Shout out to the Playmaker poll and the great long trade on a down day. Market down 1.5, and the Playmaker poll in the midday for all you guys. That was a winner today, so that stays green. Shout out to Joe and Sharif, not just for that great idea, but for some fantastic hosting and some good trading on the midday show. But you know what time it is, and you know what you got to do. First, you don't have to do much of anything. All you have to do is sit back, relax, like I'll be doing on Sunday when the Bills take care of business, because the market recap is at the desk right now with Sean and Adara. Get your questions ready.
All right, let's go. Adara, how's it going? Good to see you.
I'm
again.
good. How are you?
Potato French fry. I'll save that for the end. Thank you so much to everybody, man. We're seeing a lot of love in the chat. Of course, thanks, Neil, for that good throw. And yeah, man, we'll say good luck to no matter what your team is, but more specifically, the Buffalo Bills and Green Bay Packers. We'll wish good luck to those teams this week, and good luck to your team. I mean, ultimately, whoever wins, it wins. Sports is sports. Yay, sports.
Go sports.
Okay, what do you think about, so the most controversial one, we'll talk about this, it's actually Monday night. Rams, Vikings.
LA Rams,
Yep.
Minnesota Vikings.
Perfect.
I'm going to go Vikings.
I knew it because you were going to
Because we're
closer
near
to
there.
Winnipeg.
Yeah, we're like I grew up going, like I did a dance competition in Minnesota. Like my
You what?
sister did a
You did what?
taekwondo
You did dance
competition.
competitions
Oh, I
before?
was a competitive dancer for years.
How many years is this?
It was like till I graduated high school.
Like what
basically.
style of dance?
Oh, I did Irish dance.
Ramin
was, like,
was a
weirdly
competitive
my
dancer.
forte.
Yeah.
I did tap dance as well. I did like all of the, basically in competitive
You
dance.
did Irish?
Yeah, that was weirdly my forte.
That's wicked. You gotta find some videos.
Oh, I probably do have them, but like it's a version of it. What Fabian's doing right now. But no, I think what's funny too is with dance, it's basically a racket. If you want to do competitive everything, you have to do ballet. You have to do. So it's like I did everything, but I like tap and.
So right now, my daughter and I had to buy Discovery Plus for this. Like I am just basically, the women in my life basically own me, and that's great for me actually because they do everything. But she's watching Toddlers and Tiaras, which is right now.
That's amazing.
That's so old, and it's these little kids that dance around. It's really hilarious. But she also loves Dance Moms. So I don't know if you've seen that.
My sister.
That's with Abby Lee something.
Abby Lee Miller. Abby Lee Dance Company, ALDC.
Yep.
The girl who started that tall girl
Why did I
movie,
start this?
She was from Dance Moms. Maddie Ziegler was from Dance Moms. My sister, she was on a break.
JoJo Siwa.
JoJo Siwa.
JoJo Siwa. What up, JoJo? How are you doing, JoJo?
Not good.
She's doing great. What do you mean? I think she's been. But Maddie, the one that you're talking
Maddie
about.
Ziegler, yeah.
She did the.
She's quite the career now.
Sia.
Chandelier.
That's right. Because I was like, oh my God. Because I'm watching that show and I'm like, there's no way. And by the way, I understand this is a stock show, but this is my show right now. So we haven't talked about stocks in 5 minutes yet. And we may not do that. But Abby Lee Miller, she was a little loco to me, man. All that yelling at kids.
No, my favorite is the pyramid. So it's like, based on how good you are, you're in like this pyramid. And I'm like, how do you decide though?
She's like, she unveils it, right?
Yeah,
right
she's
in
like,
front of all
you're
the
at the
parents.
top. And at a certain point, like when they whittle it down,
right.
If you're the last girl, you know where you are in the pyramid. Like you've done everybody else. Why are we unveiling it?
All right. Let's talk a little bit about the market. We had a little bit of a rough day to start with, and the reason why was because we did have hotter than expected jobs report today. So the triple Q started off pretty nice, man, at 5:15. We were down about half or flat or so. Then all of a sudden, whoops, to the downside right there. And we get right back into 505 on the Qs, about 21,000 there. And then once the number was sort of digested, we all had our lunch, we got to figure things out. Boom to the upside right there, midday, back into 510. But the thing is, you still fail at the 200 period on the 3 minute and head lower into the close. So the market, although pretty good day overall, still down that 1.57. Adara, you had a great graphic there. Maybe you can find it on the Dow Jones. The Dow Jones 30, talking about some weighting. I'm a little disappointed at how highly ranked Sherwin-Williams is.
Yeah, okay, I have it up and ready.
Yeah, so you'll have that in just a quick little second right there. Let's go over it. So the Dow today, Ramin. The Dow today down 1.7%. I just want to check out the SPY as well. So Dow is the carry forward trade today to that downside. And again, I think it's because if we're going to look at this sort of weighting there, if we go to Adara's screen, you're going to see what some of these, look at that wheel.
Thank you.
Coming through again. Hey, Neil, what's going on? Very, anything catch your eye on that before I talk about it?
I mean, I said it too, and I presented this on the midday. Goldman Sachs being number one and UNH being number two, these two are 15% of the Dow on their own, which is shocking. Microsoft number 3, Home Depot number 4, and then as you said, Sherwin-Williams number 6. So if you recall, Sherwin-Williams and Nvidia were both added to the Dow in November when Intel got the boot. So it's interesting, Sherwin just added already 6% of the weighting here. Salesforce also didn't realize this was on there. But yeah, this graphic really shows you Nike, Disney, pretty low weighted. Cisco is actually, I believe, the lowest weighted on here. And Boeing actually pretty high. I think they're 18. So interesting look here. I'm also hard at work right now on one for the NASDAQ 100, which will feature all the logos, hence why it might take a while. So stay tuned here for more TTV Research original graphics.
We have to say, yeah, great job there, Dara. I have to say, like, honestly, big heart and big, not shout out, but we really hope for the best of everybody working as hard as they can here in California. I mean, I just opened up X here because I was going to show you some of the, that graphic again, which you already did, but this was the first page there. Like, this is wild to be in an airplane and to actually see this. Like, that is unbelievable. And then I don't know if anybody had seen this either, but this is somebody stuck. It's not, yeah, it's okay anyways. This is someone stuck in their house.
Oh my God.
Like, that is literally outside of their house, stuck in it and not knowing what to do. There's a little dog coming up very, very soon there. So scary times there in California. And again, we just hope for the best. I heard that the winds were dying down yesterday. So if anybody there is in the, I guess the West, let us know. I guess the smoke is probably mild.
It's really, that's upsetting, of course. And it's interesting too, like I feel badly for the LA Rams who have to like play, and they also have, I'm sure they have people and loved ones there. Like that's, I know you have a job too, that's gotta be tough, but seriously, shout out and best wishes and, all of the love here to our LA family, because that is, that's horrible.
Yeah, we want to just keep an eye out for that, and just keep watching the news and send it. The good thing about Canada is we've sent over so many of those drop planes, those water drop planes. It's been amazing. I saw a story about that as well, as we got to keep supporting each other. So heads up on that, and prayers up for everybody over there. Okay, we did get University of Michigan inflation expectations as well. 3% for the 1 year, which is not bad. Print above that 3%.
Yeah, it was 3.3% versus 2.8%. Expected. In my theory, that is the number that pushed us lower at 10 a.m. I don't think it was consumer sentiment. Consumer sentiment was slightly higher, but it was like less than 1 point higher. Like that, to me, that insane inflation expectation combined with the fact that Bank of America said, we don't think there's any more rate cuts coming at all. They actually think hikes should be the next step. We don't have any Fed cuts priced in now until July. So I think with all of that hawkishness, I think that 3.3% 1 year inflation was the cherry on top.
Yeah, there we go. Deep talking about the heavy smoke and everything. Yeah. So here's a name there. And again, I want to talk about this. The KIE is the insurance sector ETF. That's probably going to get for a little bit of a downside push here. And so is this name. It's Berkshire, unfortunately. And here it comes back in right now, Berkshire. This is a name that I've been buying recently as well. Not recently, but, in this dip down. I think we're long in and around here, 460 and change. Would make sense that I would have started buying there. I've only bought it once. I'll double check the price. But I'm looking again right now at the 200 period. I still like Berkshire as well. But here is the KIE insurance index right now, down 2.9 ETF, down 2.93%. And even despite all of this turmoil, obviously there in California by the natural disaster, you do have a continuous move down in on the insurance names. So that might be a sector to look to pick up on some weakness. If we do a little bit of a broader look on the market today, Dare did a great job on the green screen earlier by looking at some of this. But man, oh man, what a little bit of a fail day right there. We'll do this calculations and then slap a fail right on it. There isn't much relief on the market today. We do have, and a great pay. Were Eli Lilly long or short yesterday?
I was Eli Lilly long.
Long, okay, bang.
And I saw that on that breakout of that flat top today, intraday on that 794. I was like, mwah, mwah, mwah.
So we get Eli Lilly there, right there. Yeah, we like that one. 1 point. We're gonna have a lot of fun with this. I keep on saying to Joe, like, did he make that spreadsheet?
I don't know.
Because I have one done.
My picks today worked out. So
I was doing it on my phone. So we're gonna update that. Eli Lilly, one of Adara's picks for 2025. We like that. I like Eli Lilly too. Alzheimer's. They got a new drug there.
Yes.
Zepbound or something there.
They basically what happens is a lot of their drugs that they have for certain things, they're realizing can be used for other things. Trish and I have talked about this. Pardon?
The GLP-1.
Yes, right. So the GLP-1 has so many, I guess, uses. The tirzepatide too, I believe. I forget. I think that might. Anyways, the point is they have a lot of drugs. I'm not bullish on them purely for a weight loss perspective. I'm bullish on them for everything that they have to offer. Right. And I think the starting point of that is the weight loss side.
I really like the space. I mean, I talked about XBI. I really like XBI as well. We'll get into that one. But okay, so right now, the only tech name that really held up today that anybody would own. I mean, look, there's going to be, what is this little name in here? Something that LHX is in there as well as LDOS. I don't even know what that is. But right there, Meta right now, one of the only top names today. And we got that little bit of a TikTok tailwind coming through on Meta as the Supreme Court says they will uphold the ban there on TikTok. So we'll wait to see if Meta gets some more push headwinds in that. We had a great tailwinds. We had a great trade on Meta down there at 610 today. I'm not logged in to the system, but it was 15 pennies on that one. And then just, 15 pennies, $15.
Yeah.
On you taking 15 pennies on Meta, you have to have something that have had to happen to change your mind. Like you're in and you're out real quick.
Yeah, you're like
the spread is 35, 40 pennies.
Yeah.
So do not trade Meta for 15-cent scalp. Again, some other good names today in the retail trade. If we sort of look at this sector today, basically the strength. There wasn't too many strong sectors today, and I don't think retail was very strong at the end of the day, but Amazon down that 1.4 as they get tech hit. But the other names, Walmart up 1, Costco up 1, Home Depot. I actually saw my wife spend some money at Home Depot. I forgot to ask her what that was. I wonder, she said she was going to Home Depot there today. I don't know what we were getting. We've recently, unfortunately, we have some sad news, and it's not that sad after all, but my daughter's beta fish passed away.
Oh.
So we've gotten some medicine for it and everything like that. It passed away there. Its name was Pina Colada. So that beta fish has passed away. So I don't know. Maybe she got a new filter or something. Maybe I don't know if Home Depot does all that stuff. But there it is. Anyways, shout out to Pina Colada as we'll get her a new beta fish. There's Berkshire JPM as most of the finance sector. Look at this board. Like where?
Yeah.
What's the matter you right now? Finance downside as we worry about yields. We worry about that interest rate cut coming through. Net interest margin going to be an issue because if we've bookended 4 or 5 cuts this year, and now all of a sudden we extend it out into July, you had mentioned, then there's Blackstone to the downside. I still like Morgan Stanley, but Morgan Stanley, if we don't get a lot of these IPOs this year, that's also going to be a problem as Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley and all that, making money on those deals, that is for sure. I like American Express. I think it's best to breed there as far as credit card companies are concerned. So we'll wait to see if American Express gets going back on that upside as well. So, all right, we are going to be taking some Q&A.
Yeah, I saw a question already.
Oh, we do? Okay,
yeah.
Let's go.
So Marty wants to know what we think about BA long-term because he is looking to pick up some calls, I believe.
Perfect. That's
so
right up your alley.
Boeing was actually one of my picks for 2025, Marty. Now, I want to clarify with Boeing, one of the biggest things you have to be aware of is the opportunity for the door to swing off of this stock. Obviously, that's a metaphor, but also we know Boeing has had some issues with regards to door staying on, not cleaning things with Dawn soap, for example, right? So I think
Palmolive, I don't know.
Right, stuff like that. So I think the thing with Boeing is once you can get past these areas, there's a lot of technical things here I like. I have 2 AVWAPs on here. This first one is from the fated door incident in early January 2025. The second here is going to be from that most recent incident there on January 2nd, which I believe had to do with the plane crash. But basically, as you could see here, we're below both here on the daily chart. We're actually rejecting AVWAP on the daily as well if you go to January. What day was this? January 7th? Mm-hmm. But I want to take a look here at the 15-minute because there's a pattern I'm seeing that I really like. So for one here, I want to make clear, Boeing did make a lower low today. Boeing broke decisively below not only just 770, but its other previous low of that 169.35. But we bounced beautifully. And on the 15-minute chart, we're currently bouncing off of this AVWAP. So I don't think that's a bad look at all. That being said, the lower highs at 174 are a concern. I'd like to see us reclaim 174. And then if I go back to the daily here, the other level I'd like to see us reclaim is 180 because 180 is a heck of a double top for Boeing. We got there mid-August 2024 after having rejections of it a couple times. Now, the most recent rejection here is going to be back, I guess like a couple weeks ago now, late December. So I want to see us reclaim and close above 180 on the daily. Then I want to see us take out that 196. And I want to see us turn this lower highs, lower lows pattern upside down. I do think there's some opportunities, and I think the fact that so many airline CEOs in the last earnings cycle were really bullish on Kelly Ortberg and they thought he was a really good opportunity for Boeing, I think that's a great sign. If the airline CEOs like him and they're the ones who are going to be purchasing the planes, I don't think that's a bad look at all. I think we have to see what Boeing does from here, but I like the technicals.
I like that. I should hit this calculation as you were talking. Great opportunity there to listen to that bull case. Thank you, Adara, for that. And look, I mean, I like Boeing as well. Whenever you see a chart that aggressive to the upside, something's behind it. That is for sure. I want to thank you. Thanks to all the well wishes there for the fish. Thank you, Ozan, for remembering the best cat, William the cat, the black cat. He had passed away earlier in 2024 as well. Thank you for remembering that. Okay, question time. We get one from Ditch the Charts. Thank you to Bears vs. Bulls. Going to sort of throw some through here. And again, if you want to ask any questions, come over to this chat right now. You got to be a subscriber. Get in the chat. We're looking at it, and we want to discuss anything that you have. We are wrapping up at 4:30 today, so I want to thank everybody for staying late. Over 2,600 of you, pretty good, man, on this day. So thank you for staying with us one more time. All right, Didja says, what are my thoughts on gold moving forward? So I talked about this. I picked the Dow 30. I almost put gold as a pick there yesterday as a hedge. I like gold moving into 2025. Let's talk about the bull case. I mean, today gold was up 1%. So if we come over to the screen right now, it's one of the up trades this year, today. I think it could continue. We did see record gold prices of $26.70 an ounce in 2024. So that was all the way up here before that fall back. That was the November 1st high in gold of $26.70. Now, the thing about gold, Adara, is it's a great hedge against inflation. If CPI is going to start to run hot again a little bit, we got that job number today. Is the government going to come in, pump some more money into this situation? Gold is a good hedge against inflation. It's also a good hedge against monetary policy because they're not just creating gold out of thin air. So that's something that you can hold the value. It's a good play against a rising US dollar. So it depends on what you're thinking about all of this. Also, let's not forget about what's happening in, what day is it today? The 10th? In 10 days.
That's crazy. It's only 10 days now.
I know. So Donald Trump, there'll be a new administration. So gold, again, known as a hedge against global uncertainties. So if you were thinking about, there it is. I like that song there. As we go, well, that should be a fun day anyways, Jan Ted. I always think inauguration and all things like that are just good TV, and it should be especially then. And then getting into office as we get the appointments coming through, right? Right now it's just all rumors, who's going to be cabinet, this and that, but we'll get all that. So global uncertainty. So I like the question. Thank you so much, gold. Here it is on the weekly chart. I mean, look how strong gold was this year. So nice little move up into 240, 250. It basically did nothing for 4 or 5 years before eventually breaking out. That's 2020. And then there's the breakout there, early 2024 with a continued move. So thank you so much for that question. I like that one on gold. I think it should be a part of your portfolio. Yeah. For me, I would be equally weighted gold and Bitcoin. So if you had 100% of your portfolio, I think in the single low digits for each one of those is probably appropriate. And then if you wanted something, I thought COPX, copper there, was a play. We had talked about this with Raheem yesterday when he was live on the air. There it is, bang, bang, bang. This is a weekly chart. This is the 200 period moving average. So as we zoom in here a little bit for copper, you can see some good support technically on COPX. Raheem likes all this. XME is the Spider Metals ETF as well, if you wanted to get a little bit more there. I see Fabian doing some calisthenics over there, which is really good. Nice. Stretch those legs out as well. All right, have we seen any other questions?
Yeah,
okay,
there's actually one I'd like to talk about here, which is on the IWM. I'm going to go up to see you asked about this. It was Richard Romea, so I'll take a look here. I looked at this multi-time frame. You guys know I like my multi-time frame. Here's the weekly chart. Now on the weekly, if you actually draw this trend line here from that low of October 2023, we're in a decent uptrend. It's not perfect, but this weekly could arguably bounce off this level here at that almost 217 level. We've got the higher highs, we have the higher lows. However, the other thing on the weekly I see that kind of not terrifies, but I think it's worth noting is this double top. This is a heck of a double top here at 243.33. So basically, obviously, there's only two ways a double top can resolve. There's more than two ways anything can resolve, but you could argue this is maybe a bit of a rounded bottom, do a little bit of a cup and handle, or we sell off from here. I think the fact that we're holding this trend line is an okay look, but I think the daily also has some levels of concern that I want to talk about. So the daily, I think, is a great look here. We have this repeated bounce off this previous resistance area of 163 with that kind of range between 163 and 200. Then we have this nice breakout. We make a higher low. We continue to bounce off this trend line, same as the one that we saw on the weekly chart. But then if you zoom in here a little bit, things get a bit dicey here, and we kind of have this gap down Now, I have this AVWAP, drew this AVWAP from the election, which you know is a volume event, especially for IWM. And I think the fact that we're well below this election AVWAP is kind of concerning. Take a look. We'll have to wait and see what happens here. I think I'd like to see us get back above 226. That's been a support resistance area since and a little bit before the election. So 226 reclaim, I like. The idea to hold above this trend line at 216 on the weekly, I also like. That is my IWM.
A good one. Good little review there. I think all of that makes a lot of sense, especially when we're talking about the rate cut cycles and where IWM might be. There is a place. Now you've scared people in the chat with that. So, hey, man, if you don't want to know the information, don't ask it.
It looks like it could go either way. Yeah.
Is that Rockstar or?
No, it's a Bang Energy. Shout out to TikTokers in 2020 who seem to live off of this. If their endorsements
that was a big one in 2020?
Oh, yeah. The guy had the chain, the CEO had the chain. Really? And basically what he did was he paid for several influencer houses. They were all paid through Bang endorsements. And if you watch any of the documentaries made in this era, they're like, oh, you have to do your Bang videos, bro. You can't pay your rent. You're not doing your Bang videos. So, yeah, shout out to the influencers who had lives.
I like grape. That's grape?
That is grape.
Grape is a great
It's good.
flavor.
I like Rockstar better, but yeah.
People aren't going to believe this, but I've never had any energy drink.
See, it's more placebo for me, but they taste good. So.
Right. That's yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say. I don't think caffeine or anything does too much to me. This is just pure energy until I get home and crash, of course, as we go. But all right, so another question there. I do see your question, Adam. I'll get to it on the S&P 500 as well. But here's Viking Therapeutics. So we do get a question here. I'm going to get it. Thank you, Bears vs. Bulls. This question, of course, comes from, where is it? From Nick W. Again, a GLP-1 drug. Okay, so look, I don't know about this drug as much. This name. Viking Therapeutics, of course, is an early stage clinical biopharmaceutical company. We've talked about that. And these are risks, right? We saw Moderna, obviously a little bit different with some of the, as I go like this, with some of the injections there. Vaccine plays as I'm doing it.
Jab.
But jab as well with GLPs. So for me, like, this is probably a better question. We'll write it down. We'll ask Neil about it because he was in this for a play. Like, he's probably going to say he's got out at $50 or something, but this is really starting to bleed down. I would say Viking on that gap. All gaps get filled. This is a daily chart. So right now you're back to this level of $37, $38. So for me, man, high of $99 last year, low of 20. So very, very volatile. Market cap of just $4 billion. Again, you're just waiting to get more news again on anything with respect to Viking Therapeutics. For me, it's just stay away. I don't really, if I'm going to be involved in anything, Nick W. And again, better to ask Neil because I know he was in Viking and I don't really know that much about it. Maybe we can ask Brian Shannon. I know he's in some of these therapeutic names as well. But I like XPI or IBB. We're out of the money on this one, man. We've been taking hits on XPI. I haven't got out of anything, but bought it here at the 200 period. Now trying to get down. Another name there, IBB as well for biotechnology ETF. Another spot to get involved in the game. I like this space. I like Viking because I feel that if we do have different restrictions and legislation coming in, making M&A a little bit easier, I could see the space picking up. That was my theory here. Yeah. But again, cheaper rates are better for these like non-revenue generating companies that need to borrow money in order to keep putting it into these clinics, these trials. So as soon as they can do that, boom goes the dynamite, but you either need a buyout or you need that big successful drug. There was something today, one of the names earlier today popped like crazy. I think it was it wasn't Rigetti, something on phase 2 trials earlier.
There's a lot of phase 2 trials.
There's always a lot of those today. All right, Mr. Adam DeLuz, thank you so much. Good friend of the show, Adam. You can go find him on my Instagram. He did a super chat of £2 British. Bang. He says, real sees real. So we see each other. SPY predictions for 2025, 8%. Next question. So back-to-back years of over 20%.
That's true.
Coming through. We've been doing some studies. I've read some stuff. People that I believe in and some of the stuff that we've looked at have talked about S&P 500 with a positive year, but in and around that like 5 to sort of 10%, which historically is going to be a little bit under. You're looking at about 13% year over year on the S&P since I think it was 1970 or so. So the last 50 years, the S&P 500 has yielded about 13%. Now, the reason why I say a little bit under that number, that global uncertainty coming through. We had such a bump since November that I'm just wondering, will the steam come out and then we can start to go? You're going to get a good look early on. I thought it was 4:30 there. I heard a little bit of a noise back over there. I said, we got to wrap this up. What I'm getting at here is the S&P 500 is going to be very, very dependent on what happens next week with a lot of these bank earnings. We've seen XLF come back down in a little bit here. If the banks can hold steady, give us that floor that we need, then lead us into the next little round of earnings. Next thing you know, if we can hold up 5, 6, 7% heading into summertime, then I think we can get that extension into the end of the year as hopefully the rate cut cycle continues. So I could see sort of flattening out now until rate cuts in July. And if you come over to the chart right now, the reason why I say all this is right now on the year, I mean, we have year-to-date performance here over the last 20 days down 4%. So that's not good. Where's the year-to-date on this? Okay, so we're down 1% right now on the S&P 500 since January. So it's not huge or anything like that. But if I'm saying up 8, that means 9% from now.
Yeah.
So if we're going to look at this, breaking through 600, taking out this 606, that gets us a little bit back. I think we can do that. We'll be at highs in the S&P 500, I would say, probably a month and a half from now. So let's wait to see if we can recover that. So those are my initial thoughts. You think we're going to have an up market or a down market?
I think there's a couple factors that are going to make a big difference here. I think one, it depends on a lot of the policies that are implemented in the Trump administration. I'm not even saying, wide market sell-off or wide market buying on him getting in. I'm saying that certain industries could be badly affected by the tariffs. And so I think it could be a specific industry move that could impact the index. The second thing I think is key here, Sean, is I would like to see what happens with these rates. It seems now pretty much priced in that we're not going to get a cut until at least July. Bank of America thinking the next move should be a hike. So we're going to have to wait and see here. I think that there's a lot of uncertainty. And I think until January 20th comes, we probably won't have a really good sense. Even then, it might take a little bit longer. So really quickly, too, I looked at that Viking chart as well. I had some thoughts on this. So, yeah, Neil liked it as a buyout. Like what you mentioned, the buyout, that's why Neil likes it. I remember that. But yeah, I totally agree with you in that $37 area. My thing, too, is it's a huge gap fill. Like the fact that we've entirely filled this gap from that push to the upside with volume is kind of concerning. The other thing, too, is there were a couple opportunities for this to look bullish, and I think it kind of unfortunately didn't on a technical standpoint. This, to me, is a rounded bottom. You had that opportunity to break out. Instead, it actually ended up being a double top at 82s. We then rejected off the AVWAP from that push to the upside and then just pushed down. So that's my take here on VKTX. Unfortunately, Nick W., I think it looks a little bit bearish here unless we get some kind of crazy bounce and then fill this other gap.
Oh, no. That means we're at the end of the show. What a fun show that's been. When we're doing Q&A, it just rolls and rolls and rolls. We had a great time yesterday. I want to thank everybody that joined us yesterday when the markets were closed. We had a great time. We had that 4, 5, 6 box. That was fantastic. We had a great time with that. Brendan, Sharif, everybody that was involved. Joe yesterday, yourself, obviously. Back. How'd you like being back at that desk? You were normally on the other side.
I was on the other side, yeah. Well, it's funny because Sharif's always talking about his flickering monitor, and I messaged him. I get it now.
I had the same thing.
It was flickering like crazy. I was like, he's like, I'm glad you feel my pain.
Yep.
So shout out to Sharif, miss that guy.
There it is.
Good times.
Now you have 2 of me. Not often a great idea. Not often a great idea. Thank you so much, Fabian, for that one. Yeah, my screen sort of flickers back and forth. They replaced the cable. I think it got better. So I didn't realize Sharif was upset a little bit about that. But
bad, yeah.
Right now it's time for this. All right, on thanks Bears vs. Bulls. Bears vs. Bulls sent us a chat. He really likes the format of this Q&A. He says you and I keep it real fun and exciting. Obviously, so does Neil as well. We have different formats on Friday. We'll try to keep it a little bit lighter. We do have big guests coming throughout the rest of the week, and we want to make sure we get their opinions to you as well. So a lot of fun, and a lot of fun on the show today, every day. Make sure you join us at 8:30 every single day, except for yesterday. We start at 9.
Yeah.
But, okay, it's roll call. What's up here? Let's see who's here. First of all, if you're here and you're from California or anywhere and you've been affected by this, we say prayers up to you. And again, have a great weekend. Stay safe. People talked about that video was someone that had an automatic water system there on the house that just kept on drenching the house, avoiding that, and apparently survived it. But wow, the rich it's unfortunate because if you could afford those things, good, but a lot of people obviously can't. So there it is. What's up, Sam? Gabriel Matthews. I don't know. I haven't seen you here before. Alex Davis. What's up? Hugh J. What's up, my guy right there? Sebastian's here too. Tommy McDonald's here. Mike Davis is here. Bears versus Bulls here. Ozan. Oh, I don't have the cow, but he's here as well. Bilbo Bagholder, one of my favorite. And Hurts Scrambler. I hope Jalen Hurts isn't scrambling around too much against the Green Bay Packers this week. Dara, a couple names, then we'll get out of here.
Yeah, we got Darwin Marie, Al Joseph Brown, Daryl Flinch. I will look into that DPZ there. Thank you, Daryl Flinch. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Sean Neal. That's pretty funny. Ostentatious Productions, 3-7s. Bears versus Bulls. I'll end with you. Thank you to everything you do. And thank you to all. Yes,
I like that. Thanks, Adara. Good day today. Everything's all good up here. Thank you, Fabian, for staying late and switching for us. Thanks to Joe today. Good show. Thanks to Sharif, Neil, who else? Ramin. Andre.
Yeah.
Neil, we said already. That's probably about it. Thanks to Wade and Brankos. Thanks to Obi for always being here and grabbing and helping us and providing us with some great information as well. Thank you once again to Bears vs. Bulls. I feel like he's been here has it been 3 years maybe since we've had him? Maybe even a little bit longer. There's Joe. Hey, Joe, give a wave. There he is. He's there. He's looking over some numbers there. Any hockey this weekend, Joe? Oh, I know where that is, McCormick. I might, yeah, right there. So Joe, he's out there. He's getting ready to rock and roll. Catch this guy at a rink near you. All right, thanks, Adara. We've got potatoes, and now we have?
Pommes frites.
Pommes frites, we like that French fry. And petit peu right there. If you did not know, now you do. Thank you so much to everybody. It is Trader TV Live. We're back at 8:30. Ciao.
Yep.